today in Chicago, and they're the champions in the AFC West. Leading them to that 10-5 record has been Craig Morton at age 38, and in his 17th NFL season, he's having perhaps his finest campaign ever. This is the first time he's ever thrown for better than 3,000 yards in a season, and the 20 touchdowns is just one less than his personal high. On the receiving end of 13 of those scoring strikes, the previously unheralded number 81, Steve Watson, tied with Alfred Jenkins of Atlanta for most touchdown receptions in the NFL. But can they do it against a suddenly revitalized Chicago Bear defense? The Bears are just 5-10 overall, but they're 3-0 against the AFC West, toppling Kansas City, San Diego, and last week, Oakland. And the focus today in that Bear defense is on this man, Alan Page, the 218th and last game of a marvelous 15-year career. You're looking at a few of his 170 career sacks. The man has played in 20 NFL playoff games, in 4 Super Bowls. He's been in the Pro Bowl 8 times. Craig Morton of the Denver Broncos, Alan Page of the Chicago Bears, 32 years of combined NFL experience between them. They're in the spotlight today as the Bears try and spoil the playoff hopes of the Denver Broncos at Soldier Field. NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League. Today from icy Soldier Field, it's the Denver Broncos versus the Chicago Bears. Today's game is brought to you by Michelob Light, an exceptional light beer with a rich, smooth taste. By the new Chrysler Corporation for 1982. Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By RCA, from their 9-inch color tracks to their giant projection TV, RCA will open your eyes. And by GMAC, the financing people from General Motors. Soldier Field, a fine day if you happen to be a Penguin. If you're a Bronco or a Bear, however, it might be difficult to get by. There is Alan Page. And before the ball game, we asked him to sum up his career in the NFL. You're going to take a look at a presentation here, which was made to him by Papa Bear George Halas.
15 years is a long time. It's been a great career. I've enjoyed every moment. And when I stop and think, it reminds me of a line from Tennyson's Ulysses. I am a part of all that I have met. I will always be a part of the Chicago Bears and a part of the city of Chicago. Thank you.
Bob Costas with Bob Trumpy in Chicago. And Trump, how many defensive linemen are known to quote Tennyson?
I believe he's the only one, probably ever.
Broncos won the toss. John Rivetto to kick it off. And Mike Harden to bring it back. Out to about the 25-yard line, a 20-yard return. Craig Morton leads the Denver offense out onto the field. He is the second leading passer in the NFL, rated just behind Ken Anderson of Cincinnati. Preston and Parros, Rick Parros with 82 yards last week against Seattle are his backs. Watson has caught one more TD pass than the entire Bear receiving corps combined. He's got 13 of them. Odom's caught a touchdown pass last week, and the speedster Upchurch, who's been banged up all season but is back in the starting lineup, and there's their offensive line. Morton has been sacked 55 times this year, the highest total in the National Football League. Part of that due to his lack of mobility, part because he stands in the pocket and waits and is willing to take the sack. Upchurch takes the swing pass and picks up about 6 across the 30-yard line before free safety Doug Plank makes the tackle. The Bear defense, which has allowed its opponents less than 300 yards in total offense 5 of the last 6 weeks. Osborne and Page, the veterans, inside. Harris and Hampton, the outstanding youngsters, outside. Wilson in his second year. Singletary, the middle linebacker, a rookie. And Gary Campbell on the outside. Reuben Henderson is not starting at right corner. Sprained an ankle yesterday in practice, and Jeff Fisher, a rookie, starts in his place. Rob Lytle carries, close to a first down for Denver. Gary Fensick, 45, the only Bear to make the Pro Bowl squad, makes the tackle, but it is a first down. 14 degrees at game time, the wind chill factor -12. They are going to start remodeling Soldier Field on Tuesday, and Trump, they're going to put in heated press boxes. It comes just a little too late for our benefit.
This is one of the oldest stadiums now. I believe it's the oldest stadium existing in the NFL.
First and 10 from the 37-yard line of Denver. And the pitch is back to Preston. Preston off the left side for a pickup of perhaps 4. Mike Singletary, their second-round draft choice out of Baylor, makes the tackle.
Bob, there was some question as to just how much Dave Preston was going to be able to do today. He has a pulled groin muscle. I would imagine he and Rob Lytle will share the duty most often today in that offensive backfield.
Again, Denver with that one-game lead over San Diego. The Chargers are at home tomorrow night against Oakland. But if Denver wins today, it makes no difference to them what San Diego does. They are the champions of the AFC West. The play fake by Morton, and he lobs one out incomplete in the direction of Preston. It'll be 3rd down and 6 from the 41.
And speaking about this football game, prior to the game with people from Denver, they're not too happy about having to beat Chicago in order to win the Western Division. This is a very chancy defense that Chicago plays. They at times come up with a 5-1-5 set, and there are some things that can be very, very confusing to an offensive line. But the whole season comes down to this game for the Denver Broncos. They had their problems early in the season, but they've straightened them out, and it's all on the line here. And luckily, they got enough veteran football players I think can probably withstand the pressure, Bob.
6 defensive backs are in now on 3rd and 6 for the Bears. Out of the shotgun, Morton evades the rush, completes the pass. Preston is into Chicago territory with a first down at the 38-yard line of the Bears. A pickup of 19.
Excellent job by the Denver Broncos offensive line and the other running back that stayed in, because they had everybody but Neil Armstrong coming. Here's Alan Page right up through the middle. You see just about everybody up there at the line of scrimmage. Morton, the veteran, 17 years, 1 year older than his head coach, 1 year younger than his owner, steps up, avoids the rush, and Preston stays with the pattern. You can't really see the pattern, but he was bumped by the linebacker, managed to get a little space using the contact between him and the linebacker, and it's a big first down. 19 yards on the game.
We had been told just a few minutes prior to kickoff that Reuben Henderson, the rookie out of San Diego State, would not start, but he is in the lineup now for the Bears. Harrows tries to slip outside and picks up decent first down yardage. Down to about the 31-yard line. Gary Fensick and Brian Cabral, number 54, combining on the stop.
Robert, this is exactly what Dan Reeves wants out of his offense. There is always that chance, and when you're playing a 5-10 football team, that in the first couple of drives of the day, they can get a leg up. They can get a feel as to whether or not you're in this ball game. This drive, which started back at the 26-yard line, has proven to the Chicago Bears that the Denver Broncos are not going to come in here and lie down.
2nd and 2 with 11.5 minutes to play, first quarter at Soldier Field. Much more than the 2 yards they needed for Rick Parros to the 20-yard line of Chicago. An 11-yard pickup. Denver is 8-0 at Mile High Stadium this year, but on the road, just 2-5. They're 10-1 on grass surfaces, 0-4 on artificial surface. So a few numbers going against them today.
That on artificial surface over the last 4 years is 11-6, but they have had problems this year.
The Broncos are 3-0 against teams from the NFC Central. The Bears are 3-0 against teams from the AFC West. Harros, and this time virtually nothing. Jim Osborne, the left tackle, number 68, hit him first, and Alan Page, 82, was also there. This is a very, very aggressive Chicago Bear defense. Buddy Ryan, their defensive coordinator, came in here, and it's taken some of these players almost half the onto the system. The most important man, it appears, over the last 7 or 8 games in that defense has been Mike Singletary. He was named to the all-rookie squad, and frankly, he just really couldn't catch on to what the Bears wanted him to do defensively. Now he is playing very, very well. Of course, he plays behind a great defensive line. Osborne and Hampton, Harris, and Alan Page, they can make a lot of linebackers look good. Osborne was shaken up on the play, and he's walking toward the sidelines. We mentioned Alan Page, who was in on that last play. He's been hanging around after practice this week till 5:30, 6 o'clock. Sports Illustrated, the networks, the stations and papers from Denver and Chicago all wanting to talk to him. He's 36 years of age, 15th season out of Notre Dame. The hairline is receding. There's gray in the beard, but he is still playing NFL caliber ball.
There's nothing wrong with the hairline receding and graying in the beard, Robert. Shame on you. Now, it's interesting. I think that he started his career out of Notre Dame 15 years ago at 270. He's now playing at somewhere around 227 to 233, given a specific week.
Last week against Oakland, blocked a kick, recovered a fumble, forced another fumble, and recorded a sack. 2nd and 9.
Blitz.
Morton in trouble and belted down. Mike Hartenstein, number 73, the 56th time that Denver quarterbacks have been sacked this year.
Last week, the Chicago Bears against Oakland got to Mark Wilson 6 times. And in that particular situation, you'll see the blitz up through the middle that consumes an offensive lineman. Hartenstein comes absolutely scot-free. And you really don't want a defensive tackle at 260 pounds taking a free shot between the shoulder blades of your quarterback.
That was just the Bears' 26th quarterback sack of the year, the second lowest figure in the league, but they had 6 last week against Oakland as they went with the blitz frequently. And here's Rick Parros being helped off the field. He's an early casualty. We'll get a report on him as soon as we can. They lost 9 on that play. It's 3rd and 18 from the 28 with 9:49 to play in the quarter.
Bob, this Chicago Bear defense is getting a little cold here. Is willing to take a chance defensively. They'll blitz a lot of people, string some cornerbacks out in single coverage, and hope to get pressure on the quarterback before he can spot the receiver open.
They go with the 5-1-5 configuration now. 3 wide receivers set for Denver. Out of the shotgun, Morton gets it off, lobbing it deep. Just about everybody got a hand on it. It's broken up incomplete. Upchurch was the target, number 80. Todd Bell, one of those there, 25.
Excuse me, Bob. There you can see once again a safety blitz in a 3rd and 18 situation. 46 comes from the outside, and 99 Hampton makes him throw the ball up in the air. This is almost a completion, too. Could have fair caught it. Now, the Bears have been a very, very successful team on 3rd down conversions, allowing just 32%. Watch the pressure up front. Everybody coming there to try to disrupt the timing of the pass.
The hole will be at the 36, making this a 46-yard attempt for Fred Steinfurt, as the Broncos try and salvage 3 out of it. He got it. Fred Steinfurt, who began the season by missing 5 of his first 6, and at one point was 5 of 16 for the year, now has hit on 12 of his last 14. And the Broncos lead at 3-0 with 9:10 to play in the first. 14 degrees in Chicago, wind chill -12, and this fella's right at home.
Yes, but did he pay to get in? 11-play drive, 5 minutes and 50 seconds by the Denver Broncos, 3 points.
Fisher and Moorhead are the deep men. Emery Moorhead, the former Bronco, fields it and doesn't quite get to the 30-yard line on a 14-yard return. Steve Busick, number 58, made the tackle. The Bear offense, which 5 times this year has been held to fewer than 10 points and has never scored more than 28. But Vince Evans threw for 3 touchdowns last week against Oakland, his best performance of the year. Roland Harper back in as a starter with Matt Suhey hurt. Walter Payton has also been banged up, didn't practice earlier this week, but is in the lineup now. Keith Van Horn at right tackle made the all-rookie team, their #1 draft choice this year out of USC. Harper carries for a couple, maybe 3. Roland Harper was injured in the season's first game, replaced by Matt Suhey, never got back into the lineup until last week, didn't have a carry in 13 games.
Bob, I noticed the first snap of the ball game, the Denver Broncos were in a 4-man front. They are primarily in that 3-man front you see there, Chavis, Carter, and Jones, but they had the 4th man in. I believe it was Latimer.
There's the linebacking core along with the New York Giants foursome, probably the best in the game. Kyle, Dennis Smith, Billy Thompson, and Steve Foley are the defensive backs. 2nd down 8. Evans to the air for the first time. And that bullet is complete to Ken Marjoram, the rookie out of Stanford. And Marjoram is to the 47, perhaps the 48-yard line.
20 yards on the catch, and Dennis Smith, 49, the cornerback in coverage, slipped down. Now, the quarterback here, Evans, gets plenty of time to throw the ball, and I think you'll see Smith getting up off the ground. There he is right there. I'll tell you one thing. The kid's got speed, Marjoram, and you've got to respect that speed.
Bears placed 3 players on the NFC All-Rookie team. Singletary, the linebacker, Van Horn, the offensive tackle, and Marjoram at wide receiver. Harper carries. And he is into Denver territory with a pickup of maybe 5 yards. Bob Swenson is in on the stop, number 51. The Denver defense is ranked number 1 overall in the NFL. 3 of their defensive players made the AFC Pro Bowl squad: Bob Swenson, Randy Gradishar, and the 13-year veteran strong safety Bill Thompson. Offensively, Steve Watson was their only player to make it.
And Chicago's offense ranks 13th in the NFC.
2nd and 5 from the 48-yard line of Denver. Harper again bounces off a tackle, and Roland Harper has first down yardage inside the Bronco 40. Give him 10 yards.
Excellent job, and I have a feeling that Denver is expecting Sweetness, Walter Payton, to carry the ball a great deal, but he's got a bruised thigh, and good block by Payton on Tom Jackson, and that kind of caves in the pursuit. Roland Harper up there for 10 yards and another first down. Now watch Randy Gradishar. He's in the line of scrimmage, faking the blitz, and you can see the cutback just totally wipes out all of the pursuit. Tackle made by Dennis Smith, 49. When your cornerbacks are making tackles on running backs 10 yards down the field, you're losing the battle at the line of scrimmage.
The Bears now ask for a timeout. Evidently something out of sync, and Vince Evans will have to go to the sidelines to talk it over with Neil Armstrong. 6 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. The Broncos lead at 3-0, but the Bears are on the move, and we'll come back to Soldier Field right. The Honey Bears well bundled today at Soldier Field. On that last play, Keith Van Horn hobbled off, and they tried to get Dan Jiggets onto the field, but couldn't get him on in time and had to call timeout. Now Jiggets, 62, is in at right tackle. Payton's first carry. Slips down after getting a couple. Dan Reeves at 37, the youngest head coach in the National Football League. Tampa Bay in the battle for the championship in the NFC Central takes the early 3-0 lead. Minnesota now has had their playoffs hopes completely dashed, but they lead at home 3-0 against Kansas City. The Bucks leading the Lions, and the Jets 7-0 over Green Bay. The Jets will have a wild card in the AFC if they win at home today at Shea. I started to say that Tampa Bay is going against some formidable odds at the Silverdome. The Lions haven't lost a home game all season. Evans with a deep drop, plenty of time, but not a completion in the direction of Marjoram, number 89.
That's one of the things about this Chicago Bear football team. Vince Evans has completed less than 50% of his passes. And there are times when he throws it up in the 5th or 6th row, and then there are other times like last week against Oakland where he is right on the money, rather inconsistent.
Evans, 44.5, his completion percentage this year. Double the interceptions as opposed to touchdowns. 18 interceptions, 9 TDs. Third down 9 from the 36-yard line with 5:47 to play in the quarter. Denver leads it 3-0. Good protection. Airs it out deep. Incomplete. His target was Ricky Watts, number 80. Mike Harden, the nickelback, 31, had the coverage. Just to show you the problems the Chicago Bears have had offensively. They've scored just 26 touchdowns this season. That's less than 2 per game. That's the second fewest in the NFL, and New Orleans leads with 22 touchdowns. Their defense is proud. Their offense is struggling. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bears intentionally take a delay of game here to give Bob Parsons a bit of a better angle to try and punt it out to the coffin corner. He's the best in the league at doing this. He has put 29 kicks out inside the 20-yard line with only 7 touchbacks. And this punt will tie him for the dubious distinction of the most punts in the league's history. 110 right there. They take it from right where they were, and they get good coverage, and down the ball inside the 5-yard line. Bob Parsons has now tied John James of the Atlanta Falcons and his 1978 record for most total punts in a season, which is more evidence of the futility of the Bear offense than anything else. A 34-yard punt, which is down at the 3-yard line with 5:29 to play in the first quarter. Bob Costas with Bob Trumpy at Soldier Field in Chicago. 5:29 to play in the first quarter. And a view from behind Craig Morton at the 3-yard line of Denver. Broncos with their second possession. First time they had it, they wound up with a 46-yard Fred Steinfurt field goal. To the air, and the catch is made by the veteran Haven Moses, who loses the football out of bounds, and it still belongs to Denver. It was Ron Egloff, number 85, one of 3 tight ends on the roster, who made the catch rather than Moses.
Gutsy call by the Denver bench. Most of the plays are called from the Denver bench. No fear whatsoever of throwing the ball down there. And I believe that the Chicago Bears were expecting a run. They had the strong safety at the line of scrimmage, and he was consumed by the play fake. Egloff wide open.
Philadelphia assured of a playoff spot, but still looking to ensure home field advantage, leading 7-0 over the Cardinals in Philly. On the swing pass, Upchurch makes the catch, breaks 1 tackle, then Gary Campbell brings him down. So Denver has come out throwing. A week ago against Seattle, they exploited the Seahawks' notoriously weak defense against the rush for 237 yards on the ground, the highest Bronco total of the season, 82 of those yards by Rick Parros.
Yeah, it's surprising, too, that the Denver Broncos have a very, very good record, 10-5, and yet they've missed Rick Upchurch in 5 of their football games early in the season with a bad knee. So the rest of these guys, especially Steve Watson, played very well.
2nd down 4 from the 20-yard line.
9 guys at the line of scrimmage, Bob.
What you saw on the screen there was incorrect. It's 2nd and 4. And Preston is belted down almost immediately. Doug Plank was coming hard, 46 for his free safety spot. Mike Hartenstein, 73, hit him first.
You know, in that situation, if you put 9 guys at the line of scrimmage, you just don't have enough people to block them. And Plank ran around the tight end in the set, made the tackle. That's one of the chancy things that the Chicago Bears do defensively. They don't mind taking a chance.
4:40 and the clock running. 3rd down and a short 3. Morton will go down for the 2nd time today. Alan Page, 82, was one of those in on the sack. Dan Hampton, 99, helped him from his left end spot.
They had the 5 defensive linemen rushing, 1 linebacker, and that linebacker is right there, 46, Doug Plank. He comes out, and it's just confusing to an offensive line. Morton doesn't mind. Did you say that's the 57th sack that the Denver Broncos have given up so far this year?
Correct, sir. Out of the end zone, Prestige to punt.
I'm the one with the dish.
Well, you said that.
Jeff Fisher is the deep man. He ranks 3rd in the NFL in punt returns behind Leroy Irvin of Los Angeles and James Brooks of San Diego. A very short Prestige punt. Fisher bluffs the fair catch, and it takes an excellent Denver bounce. It's good field position for the Bears, but not quite as bad for Denver as it originally appeared to be. A 41-yard punt for Prestige, no return, 3:51 to play first quarter. Bear ball when we come back. And we are closing the book on the Alan Page story.
The last page.
The last page, you are right, and there he is. He's already been involved in a sack today. He won't go to the Pro Bowl this year. Only one Bear will, Gary Fensick. Walter Payton carries, and Payton stutter steps his way into Denver territory before Rulon Jones, number 75, stops him. Watch Walter on the replay.
One of the all-time great running backs. He has led the NFC in rushing several years. He won't this year, though. Tony Dorsett, clearly an advantage. Dorsett has 1,646 yards, and coming into this ball game, Payton with 1,160. This, by the way, is his 94th consecutive game, and as a running back that carries such a big load for a football team, that's rather surprising.
First time in 5 years that he wasn't named to the NFC Pro Bowl squad. To the 45, leaving him about 2 yards short of the first down. Payton is over 1,000 yards this season for the 6th consecutive time, but for the first time since his rookie year, his per carry average is not better than 4 yards. He's at 3.6.
This will also be the first time in the last 5 years that he hasn't won the NFC rushing title. That's true also in the AFC. Earl Campbell will not win the rushing title, correct?
Third down 3. Payton asked to get it. Slips outside. Has the first down to about the 37-yard line of Denver. Randy Gradishar eventually wrapped him up.
And one of the things I've always liked about Sweetness, reminds me too of Gale Sayers. Even though he's moving along the line of scrimmage, watch where his hips point. Always they seem to be upfield. He makes these moves and it just doesn't seem possible. And let me correct myself. Earl Campbell, of course, is still leading the AFC in rushing, and that'll be his 4th straight year leading the AFC, but the first time he won't lead the NFL. I knew I'd get it straight.
Inside 2 minutes to play first quarter. Bears trail 3-0. Again, they're on the move. Well, he threw a dart in there, and it couldn't be held by Ricky Watts.
Thrown behind him. That's one of the problems that Vince Evans has. He is not considered one of the most accurate passers in the NFL. 44.5 completion percentage, but then what do you expect? This guy started his career as a kickoff return man.
He's one of the finest athletes ever to play the quarterback position in the NFL. An excellent runner. Second down 10. Deep drop, lots of time, and through the hands of Roland Harper and incomplete. There's a flag down on the play.
Holding 78 Chicago Bears.
That would be Keith Van Horn, who was out of the lineup briefly earlier in the quarter and now has returned. There he is, number 78.
First penalty of the ballgame.
Both of these clubs' first-round draft choices, USC products. Van Horn for the Bears, defensive back Dennis Smith for Denver. Smith pressed into starting duty today because both Louis Wright and Perry Smith remain on the injured reserve list for the Broncos. Gordon McCarter to the microphone for the first time.
Moving, number 78, offense, repeat, second down.
Seems a rather severe penalty. They bring Van Horn out of the ball game because of a holding penalty. Pretty strict punishment. Bears have now been penalized 111 times this season. That's 7 per game, the most in the NFC. Second most in the NFC. LA is first with 114.
Ball back at the 46 on 2nd and 20. 1:46 to play in the first quarter. Evans again protected well. Swings it out to Payton. Got him some running room. Slips past that tackle. Does a little dance along the sideline down to the 30. 16 yards, leaving them 2nd and 4. 3rd and 4.
Walter at times does things that you're not supposed to be able to do because of gravity, and no coach can coach this. You don't teach this. He's just got great mobility. He appears to be all legs at times. Look at the move he puts on that guy, and still has the strength to go right straight at Billy Thompson and pick up another 4 yards. That's one of the unique features about Walter Payton. He can run around a tackle and run through one.
Evans looking for 4 yards. Gets away, scrambles out, has the first down.
Big play, good presence. He gets plenty of pressure here. You see the line doing a decent job, but pressure on the outside. Fakes out our cameraman, and then he can leg it. I repeat, right out of USC, they didn't know what to do with Vince Evans. They knew he was a gifted athlete, so he returned kicks for him for a couple of years. Big first down for the Chicago Bears.
Might be the last play of the first quarter. Clock is winding down toward 10 seconds. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Roland Harper carries, and time will run out. Reuben Carter, the nose tackle, was in on the stop. Denver, as Bob Trumpy mentioned earlier, usually a 3-4 team, played a lot of 4-man front in the first quarter. That's something they have done in the past to try and stop potent running games, notably against Joe Delaney of Kansas City, and they're going to it today against Walter Payton of Chicago. We've reached the end of the second quarter with the Broncos in front by 3. The start of the second quarter in Chicago. 2nd down 8 from the 23-yard line of Denver for the Bears, who trail it 3-0. Evans again protected well. The completion to Brooks Williams, number 83, one of 4 tight ends on the Bear roster. But only down to the 20-yard line. A gain of 3, leaving them with 3rd. Well, they're going to spot it at the 19, so we'll call it 3rd and 4.
I might note here that the Denver defense has been rather stingy points-wise. They allow an average of about 17 points a ball game, which is the best in the AFC. Buffalo is second with a little over 17, and Miami about 17.5. This is where it gets tough against Denver.
Marjoram, Bashmagel, and Watts all in a 3 wide receiver set.
Broncos with 4 defensive linemen.
Evans throws as he retreats for Bashmagel. Touchdown. Making Walter Payton. Payton made the catch.
That's the first touchdown reception by Walter Payton. But watch the way Evans throws this ball. It's thrown like a discus. Absolutely like a discus. Almost completely sidearm, submarine ball. And Walter Payton was there to make the catch. I repeat, his first touchdown reception of the season.
And his 7th touchdown overall. Now John Roberto tries to add the extra point and hold everything. While they sort the penalty out, let's take another look at the touchdown play.
Now watch the way Vince Evans throws this ball. This is the natural athletic ability. Knows he's going to get sacked. Throws it sidearm. Kent to Colby. And the thing gets into the arms of Walter Payton. Coverage by Tom Jackson, 57. Or lack of coverage by 57. A 19-yard touchdown, and that'll cost you 100, Walter.
100 he can probably well afford. Roberto splits the uprights. We're still in the first minute of the second quarter. 14:07 to play until halftime. And the Bears have assumed the lead for the first time, 7-3 over the Broncos. Back with the Chicago kickoff in just a minute. But Harden is the deep man in the set now for Denver.
Oh, nice.
Short kick by Roberto. Harden feels it on a bounce. And he himself has bounced around shy of the 25-yard line. First man to hit him was Bruce Herron. Emery Moorhead also helped out.
Once again, to repeat what is at stake in case you were out shoveling the walk. If the Denver Broncos win here, they are AFC Western Division champion outright. They can ill afford to allow Chicago to get in this game emotionally. And this is for pride in Alan Page's last game. If they're going to shut the door, that is Denver, they got to do it now.
If Denver loses today, they can still get into the playoffs as a wild card team if the Jets were to lose, or they could get in as the champions if San Diego loses tomorrow night against Oakland. But their fate is in their own hands, and they don't have to worry about all of this if they win today. Preston takes the pitch on first down, follows a convoy of blockers to the right side. Brian Cabral was among those who drove him out. Doug Plank was also there, 46. Here we see a bizarre individual who chooses to spend his Sunday afternoons in this fashion.
Like he's put on a little weight there. And here comes the Chicago Bears defense now. This is where they try to confuse their opponents, give a split second of thought in those offensive linemen's mind.
You know, they're playing a lot of 5-6, it appears, Trump. No linebacker at all. And that's what they're in right now.
They've got 55 Otis Wilson in there.
All right, so they're going 5-1-5. But this is the first appearance in that formation as Morton retreats and misses Parros, so that will leave them with 3rd down and 4. Morton now 4 of 7 for 42 yards. They've been playing a lot of 5-6 with Plank lining up in a linebacker spot and then retreating into coverage. And now in that particular play, the last one, they went to 5-1-5 with Otis Wilson, the only linebacker. Wilson has been suffering from some turf toe, and while he's listed as a starter, he will not be in on every down because they're trying to just spot him in and out to keep him healthy.
Bob, I noticed, too, that's the second time I've seen so far today that Mike Hartenstein has pressured the quarterback with no one blocking him whatsoever.
They're in a 5-6 set this time for sure. 3rd down, 4.
Blitz.
Morton gets it away. Nobody even close. The Bear fans are screaming for an intentional grounding call. Dan Hampton was the guy who was putting the most pressure on him and dumped Morton just as he released.
Bob, I don't blame the Chicago Bear fans for claiming intentional grounding. You see both safeties blitzing, 46 and 45. And there's nobody to throw it to, and that's to avoid the sack. thrown
Vincent
well.
got 2 sacks off the safety blitz last week against Mark Wilson and the Oakland Raiders. Now Luke Prestige to kick.
With the win.
Jeff Fisher is back deep. Standing inside the Chicago 25. 14. I believe that the clock is wrong. I was about to say 14:26 remaining in the second quarter, but evidently the game clock is wrong as Fisher fields the ball at about the 35-yard line.
You've got a flag. And if it's against Chicago, illegal procedure, Denver.
Dan Reeves saying he doesn't want the penalty.
Offensive left tackle on the kicking team declined. First down.
35-yard punt by Prestige. We'd like to tell you how much time remains in the second quarter, but the game clock has gone wacky on us, so we'll be back right after this with the Bears in front 7-3. It is cold, to say the least, at Soldier Field.
Who's in charge of logs on the fireplace is my question, because we could use another one.
12 degrees. Below 0 is the wind chill. 14 is the actual temperature. The Bears are in front by a score of 7-3. We are at some point in the second quarter, but what point we can't exactly say due to the fact that the clock is not functioning properly.
Bob, not a bad day to play football, though. You wear a couple of jumbo petite pantyhose, a couple of pair in fawn color, and you're all right.
Is that what you favored when you played with the Bengals?
Absolutely.
Harper carries. Flags fly all over the place. We're told that the official time remaining now is just under 13 minutes.
Offsides, Denver. Must have been alignment. It'll be 1st and 5.
Gordon McCarter to make it official.
Offside. Defensive line. Repeat. First down.
The series between these two teams stands 3-1 in favor of Denver. They last played in 1978, a Monday night game at Mile High Stadium. Despite a 100-yard performance by Walter Payton, the Broncos won that 16-7. 1st and 5 from the 41-yard line. Intercepted. Picked off by Aaron Kyle, number 22. And Kyle with an excellent piece of running on the return. A flag goes down. He's into Bear territory, a 19-yard run back after the interception, the 19th time Evans has been picked off this year.
Number 1, that ball should not have been thrown. That's a double rotation zone. He's trying to put it up over the corner and in front of the safety. You can see he does not get it done. But the mistake then made by the Denver Broncos, once the ball is in the air on an interception, the only thing the officials have to look for, Bob, is clipping. And I believe 57, Tom Jackson, is the man that's going to be called. That's the only one. No, it wasn't Tom Jackson because he got clipped. But that's the only thing that they are looking for in that situation. Once there is an interception, they are looking for clipping. But a great catch by Aaron Kyle. You'll see that. See if we can pick up the culprit. Couldn't really see, but nevertheless, it's going to be Denver ball.
For Kyle, his second interception of the year. Now they're just trying to figure out where the ball should be spotted. Here's Aaron Kyle, a former Cowboy.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 56. On during the return. First down.
That's Larry Evans. Maybe my explanation about clipping after an interception was for naught.
It was interesting nonetheless.
Well, thank you very much. But wrong.
From the 18-yard line. Denver, after leading 3-0, now trails 7-3. Brian Cabral with the tackle on Ron Egloff after a short gain. They spotted at the 22-yard line. Give him 4. 2nd down, 6. Jackson goes out wide to the left. He hasn't caught a pass yet today, and he was shut out in the reception department last week against Seattle. Hasn't had a touchdown catch in 3 weeks, 13 for the year. Morton has it batted up in the air, free ball, and picked off. Mike Singletary, the rookie from Baylor, makes the interception.
Just the 12th interception on the year by Craig Morton. He has had an outstanding year, completion percentage-wise and interception-wise. This bounces off the receiver. I'm not sure you can blame this on Craig Morton. I believe the ball should have been caught. You see Odom's right there in front of it. I think the 44 got his hand in there and kind of knocked the ball up in the air. Terry Schmidt and Singletary, the man on the spot with an excellent reception. Turnover, back-to-back almost.
For Singletary, the first interception of his NFL career. Peyton carries on first down. Gradishar and Jones in on the tackle. Back with the second down play after an update from New York. Here's Bryant Gumbel.
Okay, Bob, Minnesota's Tommy Kramer is the most intercepted quarterback in the NFL this year. What you're viewing here, his 24th interception of the year, a great pick by Gary Green of the Kansas City Chiefs. That ball game's deadlocked at 3 up at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington in the second period. Bob?
Thanks, Bryant. Second down, 8 yards to go for Chicago. 36-yard line of Denver.
Hurry up. Let's go,
Watts, Bashnagel, Marjoram in. 3 wide receivers. Evans delivers this one right on the money. And Marjoram, their third-round draft choice out of Stanford, makes the catch. First down, Chicago.
And Chicago is doing an excellent job of mixing up their plays. You watch the pattern by this young man who made the all-rookie squad. He had 10 catches in one game, then went 4 weeks without another catch. That is in front of Bronco defensive back Dennis Smith once again. They're going to it appears, single him out today.
Marjoram caught the first touchdown pass of his NFL career last week against Oakland. First and 10 from the 27. Roland Harper into a stone wall, maybe picking up a yard.
Denver still using that 4-man front a great deal, Bob. Obviously, they respect the running game of the Chicago Bears, and also they want a little added pressure, I believe, on the quarterback.
Walter Payton comes out on 2nd and 9. The clock is moving again, and I'm going to make the assumption that it's correct. 11 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the second quarter. The Bears lead at 7-3. Quick fake to Harper. The toss to Marjoram. Steps inside one tackler and is brought down shy of the 20-yard line.
Tom Jackson on the tackle came all the way from the other side of the field. Evans now 6 of 10. About 66 or 67 yards. Just a quick screen. Marjoram does a good job trying to get up underneath the tackle. You see Aaron Kyle there almost, and Jackson, 57, makes the tackle. This is one of the great things about Tom Jackson, has been for his career. Great speed. And when you got a linebacker that can pursue like this, you keep him. He only weighs about 215 pounds. Very active.
Voted the Broncos' most inspirational player this year. 3rd and 5 from the 22. Evans unloads before he's hit. Almost intercepted. It was right into the arms of Dennis Smith, who somehow couldn't hold on.
Denver had a big blitz on there, and once again, Vince Evans threw the ball almost sidearm. You'll watch from behind the defense. You see 53 Gradishar blitzing. Jackson running around the block. Look at that delivery. It's a quick delivery, but it's a sidearm delivery. And I'll tell you one thing, Dennis Smith is open.
Now entered John Rivetto, the Southwestern Louisiana product. Brian Bashnagel kneels at the 30. This will be a 40-yard attempt. From this distance, he's 2 of 6 for the year. Overall, he is 10 of 17. Replace the injured Bob Thomas. They go with the fake. Bashnagel gets a block. A flag flies on the play. Bashnagel is down to the 12-yard line which would be enough for a first down, but let's see what the penalty is.
I think they're going to bring it back. That's one of the problems with a team fighting for the championship in the AFC West, playing a team that's 5-10. They have nothing to lose. They'll try absolutely anything. An illegal push in the back is going to be a major penalty against the Chicago Bears. And they might come back with the same play again.
.55 remains in the half as Gordon McCarter walks it off and now makes it efficient.
Illegal use of hands. Number 81, offense. Repeat, fourth down.
There's the culprit, Robin Earl, 81.
One of the problems of playing a team like this, no telling what they might do. We couldn't really see the penalty, but it was down there at the end of the play. Well, do you kick it this time?
Still looks like 40 yards to me. Rovetto has not been particularly accurate at this distance. Low snap, and he misses it wide to the right. Rovetto has better range, a stronger leg than Bob Thomas, the injured player whom he replaced, but he is not nearly as accurate. The Bear lead remains 7-3 with 9:49 to play, second quarter. A low snap on the field goal attempt, but Brian Baschnagel-Trump did a very good job getting it down in good shape for Rovetto, so that cannot be blamed for the miss. Rovetto simply was off target.
Excellent point to be made, too. The holder is so often the most important part of that kicking team. And if the kicker has confidence in the holder to get the ball, no matter where the snap is, down on the ground, normally it goes through. But we talked about this, I believe, last week, that it's more the placement of the plant foot of the kicker as opposed to the foot that's hitting the ball that determines whether the ball goes in or not. And when it's cold, it's not easy to go out there 1 or 2 plays a game and loosen up and have the proper swing and think about the fundamentals and kick the ball properly.
Joe Danello really had problems on an icy day yesterday at Giants Stadium, although ultimately he was able to come through with the game winner in overtime for the Giants. Big win against Dallas. And a look at the clock, which was malfunctioning earlier and now is correct at 8 minutes and 23 seconds to play in the second quarter. During the past month, the Broncos have rallied after consecutive defeats against Cincinnati and San Diego on the road, with victories against Kansas City and then Seattle to reach the brink of the playoffs.
To repeat, they have a very poor road record, 2-5, and they're 0-4 this season on AstroTurf, although over the last 4 years they're 11-6 on AstroTurf. Psychologically, that may have something to do with the Bronco performance thus far.
A perfect 8-0 at Mile High Stadium and 10-1 on grass. Don't see any flags, even though there was obvious movement along the line. Stoic-looking Bear fan.
Looks like the photo ornament for a Pierce Arrow or something, doesn't it?
I assume he's a Bear fan. Now that we pull away, we see he's one of the sideline officials.
Can't be a Bear fan. You know, I'm very surprised. The Denver Broncos are having all kinds of problem with those different sort of defenses that the Bears run. I'm surprised they don't go to the line of scrimmage with 2 plays in mind and call one that might work against a particular defense instead of staying with the play they call in the huddle.
Larry Canada lost a yard on that play. 2nd and 11. Lytle tries to go outside, cuts it back upfield. Decent run, and a flag flies.
Striped shirts are starring today. Watch Mike Singletary here, rookie linebacker. And he gets held, but still is able to pursue and makes the initial hit on the tackle. A young man who, when he was drafted out of Baylor, many people said that he was too short to play middle linebacker, but he's been one of the big reasons this Bear defense over the last 6 or 7 games has played outstanding football. Can't fault the Bear defense for this 5-10 record.
Gordon McCarter walks it off.
Illegal block above the waist from behind. Number 81 offense. Repeat, second down.
Steve Watson is the guy hit with the penalty.
Well, now what you do if you're quarterback is you throw him a pass. He got you in that hole. Give him a chance to get you out of it.
Hasn't caught one now in almost 6 quarters. 2nd and 21. Ball back at the 11. They go with the draw play. This will leave them with 3rd and a hefty distance to go.
So far in the ball game, Broncos have been poor. 3rd down conversions, 1 of 4. This will be their 5th attempt.
And before the 3rd and 17 play, let's pause briefly for station identification on the NBC television network.
WMAQ-TV, Chicago.
Exactly 7 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter. Bob Costas with Bob Trumpy at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears lead the playoff hopeful Broncos 7-3 out of the shotgun on 3rd and 17. Morton fires up top. He's got a man open, but he overthrew him. Rick Upchurch couldn't quite get there.
Once again, that time the Chicago Bears didn't have a middle linebacker. They had the 5-6 defense that we're speaking of, and you can see the coverage here. Man-on-man Upchurch, and he beats him, but because I believe the Denver Broncos are throwing with the wind, it has a tendency to make the ball carry just ever so slightly. Morton is a good long thrower, but that was about 4 yards overthrown.
Now Jeff Fisher stands back at the 40-yard line of Chicago, awaiting the punt from Preston. A bit of a rush on, but Prestige gets it away. Fair catch by Fisher right at midfield. A 36-yard punt with no return. One of the things that the Bears praise about Fisher, in addition to his return average of better than 12 yards, is his ability as a decision maker. When to make the fair catch and when not to. This time he took it at midfield, and we'll be right back. Neither Fred Steinfurt nor John Rivetto will split those uprights today. That's the top of the Hancock building, about 110 stories above Chicago. 100 stories, I guess. 110 is the Sears Tower, right?
After 50, who counts?
The Spider-Man does. He scaled both those peaks here in the Windy City. Evans dropping on 1st down. He scrambled once for big yardage earlier. He's into Denver territory, and he is close to a 1st down. Randy Gradishar eventually stopped him.
Gradishar also took a real good hit and seems to be somewhat hurt. Here's something like a pinched nerve in his shoulder. He's just there. You see him walk by. He's hurting a little bit, but it's a 1st down Chicago, and in every defense, there was no one to account for the quarterback. And what defensive coaches tell their defensive line is to stay in your pass rush lanes. Don't let him outside. You can see the speed of this guy. And you can see where Randy Gradishar may have gotten his neck bent over a little bit. Stinging a little bit right now.
They got the 1st down at the 40-yard line of the Broncos. 5:45 to play until halftime. Harper carries. Roland Harper for perhaps 3.
Bob, I got to tell you, the Chicago Bears are doing an excellent job both offensively and defensively at the line of scrimmage. And that, at its fundamental best, is the way you win a football game. Control the line of scrimmage. I'm rather surprised at their success to run the ball and throw the ball just about all over the field against this Denver defense, which is the #1 defense in the NFL. Or, excuse me, AFC.
3 wide receivers, Watts, Bashnagel, and Marjoram. Just 1 running back, and that's Roland Harper with Walter Payton out at this point. Evans scrambles out again. Evans for the 1st down.
Rulon Jones, 75, defensive end, had a shot at him and missed. Went for the high tackle around the shoulders. And Evans just ducked underneath that arm and went up the field. Watch at the top of your screen. Rulon Jones beats his man. Now watch. Runs right up underneath him. There's a missed tackle that results in a 1st down.
At the 29-yard line of Denver. With the clock running, we're down to 4.5 minutes to play. Roland Harper. For about 4 to the 25-yard line. Dennis Smith made the tackle, number 49. Evans has carried the ball 3 times today. 23 yards rushing for him.
Not bad at all. I would venture to say he's probably the leading rusher so far today.
For the year, he has 37 carries prior to today, 168 yards, an average of 4.5. And he's rushed for 3 touchdowns.
And in this drive, he's rushed for 2 first downs, too. Certainly helped.
2nd and 6 from the Bronco 25. 3:40 to play in the first half. Walter Payton. Harper, a good block in front of him. And Payton out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
He does that so well. He set up a block and went right around Billy Thompson. He kind of took a little juke up the field, making Thompson think that he was going to break up. There's Detroit over Tampa Bay in the win or out situation in the Silver Dome.
2 clubs which had playoff hopes throughout the season, but now are out of it. 3-3 second quarter. Green Bay gets a field goal against the Jets and trails 7-3. Philadelphia trying to build some momentum going into the playoffs after stumbling for the past several weeks. Leads the Cardinals 21-zip in the second. Loose football off the attempted reverse, and Watts just has to fall on it.
Interesting, they run the ball in a very fundamental, conservative way. Throw a little short pass here and there. Evans scrambles, loss of 11 on that play, and then they come with a trick play, which loses 11 yards. Wonder about that.
So it becomes 2nd down, and we'll call it 21.
I think the Bears just did the Denver Broncos a big favor.
Inside 3 minutes now to play until halftime. Chicago 7 and Denver 3. Short drop by Evans. Fires one to Watts. Watts breaks tackles and is down to the 5 and perhaps inside that for a first down.
I tell you what, we spoke earlier about how inconsistent Vince Evans is. He put that one right on the money. Laces up on the right foot, little slant pattern. He breaks in, bam, the ball is right there. He does not have to move an inch. Aaron Kyle on the supposed coverage, eventually on the tackle. 1st and 4.
He also broke through an attempted tackle by Mike Harden, and then Kyle, who missed it once, recovered to prevent the touchdown. 1st and goal at the 4.
Well, that pass was on the money, Robert.
Harper and Payton are the backs behind Evans. In motion, Baschnagel. Harper, touchdown.
Too easy.
Soldier Field, and despite the chilly temperatures, there are not very many empty seats. They whoop it up.
This is too easy. They are going right at the strength of the Denver Bronco defense, and they go through it like there's nobody there. This is a 5-10 football team, and you would expect more out of the Denver defense in this situation. But hats off to the Chicago Bears offensive line. Great job.
Rovetto adds the PAT for Harper, who had been a forgotten man for most of the season. His first touchdown of the 1981 campaign. The Broncos are a Jekyll and Hyde act between Mile High Stadium and on the road. They are 8-0 at home. They are 2-5 for the year on the road, and they trail here at Soldier Field 14-3.
This is Bryant Gumbel in New York. In Baltimore, ineptitude is rampant as the Patriots are playing the Colts. Following a Colt fumble that was called back because of a Patriot penalty, we had this joke of a punt, and it led to a Colt field goal. Baltimore's in front 3-0, Bob Costas.
Super Bowl is what they're calling it. The battle for draft rights. Harden fields the kick by Rovetto and doesn't quite get to the 30-yard line.
Up to this point in the first half with 1:53 left now, the Chicago Bears have 11 first downs, Denver 4.
We've reached the 2-minute warning. Actually, 1:53 remains in the second quarter. The Bears have the lead. The Broncos have the ball. The Honey Bears are happy, and we're coming back to Soldier Field after this. preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The Bears in their last 2.5 games have now outscored their opponents by a combined 47-18. Quarterback comparison. Vince Evans 7 of 12 for 112 yards and a touchdown. He's also carried 3 times for 23 yards. Morton is 5 of 11 for just 46 yards. Been sacked twice, had 1 intercepted. Evans hasn't been sacked yet. Out of the shotgun on first down. Here's the 3rd sack. Would you believe Alan Page is the guy who got there first?
Yes, I would. That's 171 career sacks. And I'll tell you what, the Chicago Bears are stoking up here. As long as the Denver Broncos have problems controlling that defense, you see the pressure from behind Craig Morton as we're going to have a quick setup play here. It's the 3rd sack of the day, I do believe, by the Chicago Bears. Denver is taking a timeout, and the more fuel you add to a 5-10 football team at home in the final game of the season, the tougher it's going to be. Dan Reeves, if he's got a stick, he better get it out.
2nd down and 18 is coming up from the 21-yard line. The best college bowl lineup ever is on NBC Sports on New Year's Day. Beginning at 1:30 Eastern Time, Penn State meets USC in the Fiesta Bowl. The Heisman Trophy winner, Marcus Allen, will be on display there. And then Washington takes on Iowa in the Rose Bowl. And finally, in what figures to be the national championship game, #1 Clemson battles #4 Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, all New Year's Day on NBC Sports. And the words should flow from your mouth a bit more clearly when you're at the Orange Bowl on New Year's night than they are here in this booth in Soldier Field, Trump.
If it's this cold in the Orange Bowl, I'm suing somebody. Here comes the Chicago Bears now with 3 extra defensive backs. They are going to probably once again go with that 5-6 configuration, which has confused generally the Denver Broncos this entire first half. They got to get the chalkboard out at halftime and come up with something different, because that defense has done an excellent job against the Denver Broncos this first half.
You saw Dan Reeves tugging that knit cap down over his ears most of his first half. He'd probably rather have had it over his eyes. Tony Reed for his first carry of the day. Perhaps a loss of a yard.
Interesting call.
And now the Bears elect to stop the clock with 1:31 remaining.
Say what?
Tampa Bay bounces back in front of Detroit. 10-7. NFC Central title on the line at the Silverdome.
And the Lions have not lost in the Silverdome, correct?
Correct. Third and 19 coming up now from the 20-yard line.
I certainly do not understand the timeout taken by the Chicago Bears there. Coming up next.
These are the 3 games that will be seen around the country. Check your local listings for the game in your area, as they say. Cincinnati, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Houston, Cleveland, Seattle. Second half of our NBC doubleheader on the final Sunday of the regular season. And Bryant Gumbel will be here with scores and highlights of games from around the league at halftime on NFL 81.
Bob, just to show you the confidence of the Chicago Bears, I think the reason they took the timeout, it's now 3rd down and 19. They're looking to get the ball back here for more points. Boy, they're rubbing it into the AFC Western Division leading Denver Broncos here.
Neil Armstrong at 55 years of age. In his 4th season as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And there's been some speculation about his future. A strong finish if they win here and make it 3 in a row to close the year might help him come back. Morton will go down for the 4th time in the grasp of Alan Page, and Jim Osborne was also there. Is still running with 1:18 remaining.
Page comes almost untouched here. You see the game up front. Obviously a missed assignment by a Denver Bronco offensive lineman. They had 2 guys on 1. Page comes for the sack, the 4th of the day. Denver's in trouble.
With a minute remaining, Prestige is standing at the goal line. High snap, but he gets it away, meeting it at about the 5. It's a good long kick, which Fisher elects to fair catch at the 38-yard line. A 48-yard punt with no return. Chicago has one timeout remaining. 51 seconds to play until halftime. 14-3 Bears. Aerial view of Soldier Field. After they close this ball game out, in just a few hours they'll start working on renovating the place. They will leave much of its old character intact. They will leave the columns, which you see across the way, Trump. The things which distinguish Soldier Field as an historic place, they will leave here, but they will try and put in some modern conveniences.
And also some luxury boxes over by those columns will add a little income to the pockets of the Chicago Bears. I don't believe they have to share that income with the city of Chicago.
Well, income might be thought of as a modern convenience.
Yes, sir.
If you're George Halas. Well, they called timeout to try and get the ball back, you would think, but now they put the ball on the ground.
Interesting.
Latimer made the tackle on Harper.
Well, I think the Chicago Bears are doing the Denver Broncos a favor here. They are throwing against the wind.
Maybe they were counting on a poor Prestige punt, and when he got off a relatively good one, they'll decide to sit on the 14-3 lead rather than risk anything here. No particular hurry to snap it. And content with a 14-3 lead. Not many 5 and 10 teams, leading 10 and 5 teams, 14-3 at the half, hear boos at home when they head for the locker room. Half with the score. The Bears 14 and the Broncos 3. We're coming back to Soldier Field in Chicago right after this.
To those of you who have been watching the Chiefs and the Vikings and the Broncos and the Bears, we welcome you once again back to our NFL 81 studios in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. As you I'm sure know, this is the final Sunday of the NFL's regular season, Week 16. I'll try to get you caught up on just what is happening around the league and how it applies to the playoffs. How it applies to the Denver Broncos is trouble right now. The Broncos have to beat the Bears to guarantee themselves a postseason berth. It's that simple. What is not so simple is how they're going to stop the Chicago Bears, a Bears team that right now is leading them 14-3. Alan Page playing in his final game as a pro, a glorious career he's had. He already has 2 sacks in the day. This one right here put the clamps on Craig Morton. Fred Steinfort had a field goal of 47 yards, moved Denver out in front by a score of 3-0. That's when Vince Evans went to work. He hit Walter Payton out on the flat. This one got the ball down to the 30-yard line. And then Evans, starting off the second quarter, throwing a 19-yard pass as he's going down to Payton, who is out there on a linebacker, on Tommy Jackson. Payton taking it in, 7-3 Bears. Evans, one more time, up top, 26 yards to Ricky Watts. This gets it close, and then using Payton as the blocker. Watch the lead block of 34, Roland Harper following behind for a 4-yard score, and the Bears are out in front of the Broncos, 14-3. Now, should Denver lose, they could still make the playoffs. That has to do with what San Diego will do tomorrow night. Another ball game with direct playoff implications. Tampa Bay going against Detroit. Quite simply, the winner here wins the NFC's Central Division title. The loser goes home for the winner. Tampa Bay is out in front of Detroit by a score of 10-7. The Lions, as I'm sure you know, have a perfect record in the Silverdome this year, but right now they're at 3 points shy of the Buccaneers. The touchdown's coming on an Eric Hipple run of 9 yards. He has since left the ball game with a pinched nerve in his neck. No telling whether or not he'll return for the second half. And Doug Williams has thrown an 84-yard touchdown pass to Kevin House to go with the field goal of Bill Capice. It stands at 10-7. Kansas City going against Minnesota. Final ball game at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. The two clubs there are deadlocked at 3. The Chiefs trying to post their first winning season since '73. Steve Fuller was intercepted early on in the ball game by Fred McNeil. A tough hit right here. All of this coming after Rick Danmeyer had moved the Minnesota club out in front on a 43-yard field goal to give them a 3-0 lead. But this has been a sloppy affair, played under tough conditions, very cold out. Tony Galbraith fumbles the ball away, and then number 67, Art Still, recovers for Kansas City. It led to a Nick Lowry field goal of 30 yards that deadlocked the game at 3. And as for Tommy Kramer, well, like the Vikings, he's been having his problems of late. Look at this pickoff by Gary Green. We show it to you because it was the 24th of the season for Kramer. And yes, that does lead the NFL quarterbacks in interceptions. It's deadlocked at 3 with a half to play. The Jets are in a position to control their own destiny. If they beat the Packers at Shea today, they are in the playoffs. They're well on their way to doing that. They're turning back the Pack right now 21-3. The Packers need this ball game. If they can win, they can go on to the playoffs, but they'll have to turn it around in the second half out at Shea Stadium under some tough conditions there. St. Louis going against Philadelphia. The Eagles are doing this one really for their own self-image. The recent weeks have been tough on them. They are taking it out on the Cardinals right now. It is 28-0 in the second period. The Eagles must like the look of the Cardinals. The last time they played, they turned them back 52-10. They're well on their way to doing the same today. It's 28-love still in the second period. New England against Baltimore. We called this the Stupor Bowl earlier. It's been the Ineptitude Bowl so far. Patriots are out in front of the Colts 7-3 in the first period. You want to know how laughable these two clubs are? Take a look at this punt. Now, the Patriots had just punted the ball away, and the Colts had fumbled it, but it was called back because of a penalty. So they tried it again. This one traveled all of 12 yards. Colts recovered. That's the good news. The bad news is they still couldn't push it in for a touchdown. Had to settle for a Mike Wood field goal of 30 yards. Sam Cunningham has since moved the Patriots in front with a 3-yard run. It stands at 7-3 in the battle for the #1 draft pick. And the 49ers, who are going to enjoy the home field advantage throughout the duration of the NFC playoffs, are playing their final game of the regular season down in New Orleans, and they're out in front of the Saints by a score of 7-0 on a touchdown pass of 13 yards from Joe Montana to Charlie Young. Later on today, there's a big ball game coming up from Atlanta, big for the Cincinnati Bengals, because they can assure themselves the home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. Matched against them, the Atlanta Falcons and Tom Pridemore.
From the hills of West Virginia comes Atlanta Falcon free safety Tom Pridemore, one of a growing number of professional athletes who realizes pro sports is an interim period between college and reality, a means to an end. Number 27 was drafted in the 9th round by Atlanta in 1978 out of the University of West Virginia. By the 3rd game, he was starting and has led the team in tackles the last 3. Earlier this season, Tom Pridemore set a new team record, returning this interception 101 yards. But this isn't a story about an incumbent free safety, rather a rookie politician.
I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of West Virginia.
This past January, the NFL's only player to hold a state office was sworn in as the youngest member of the West Virginia House of Delegates. Tom had campaigned hard. He was already well known in his home state. He had the people's trust, plus the support of the power, Governor John D. Rockefeller IV.
Tom's style is, he is genuine. There's not a phony bone in that guy. He loves West Virginia, so he runs for the House of Delegates, takes on the tough assignments, and he'll do well here. He's loved in this state. I mean, 27, he goes out on the field, everybody stands up taller.
Governor Rockefeller was very supportive of me throughout my campaign. And I think he was very instrumental in my making the decision to run at this time. There was some question in my mind as to whether or not I would be gone too much of the time. I spoke with him on several occasions about this, and he didn't see it as a problem. And he felt like that I was there during the session, during the General Assembly. I wouldn't miss none of it, and that the rest of the things that need to be done could pretty much be taken care of, through with the telephone.
Tom, what did you learn your rookie year in the House of Delegates?
Idealistically, you think you can go in, you're going to change everything that's bad. You're going to institute all good laws. You're going to make the place, a wonderful place to live. Realistically, I think you learn the proper channels that you've got to go through to initiate your ideas or to change the things that you want to have changed. Yeah, you find out exactly what it takes to get things done.
Right now, it's football. Come January, it's better roads, higher pay for West Virginia school teachers, and service for the constituents of District 21. Harmon Wages for NFL 81.
Pridemore and the Falcons will be in action later today as they go against the Bengals, but we've still got a second half to come from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, where the Chiefs are deadlocked with the Vikings at 3, and from Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears lead the Broncos 14-3.
the football. They moved smartly down the field, appeared to be in control. They got a Fred Steinfurt field goal out of it, and since then it's been all Chicago.
I can't believe how much Chicago has been. In that drive, I believe they had gross yardage of something like 70 yards. For the first half, they have a grand total net yards of 53. The 4 sacks by Craig Morton has been the big factor, and Chicago has played very well. And of course, with the psychological thing, the Denver Broncos, the pressure of having to win today obviously has affected this football team.
What about this difference between home field and the road? You expect some difference, but this is ridiculous. 8-0 at home and maybe heading toward 2-6 on the road.
And the only thing I can tell you is that the Denver Broncos do not practice on AstroTurf, even though they have it. Dan Reeves would prefer to run his team on the grass, and that's something he brought with him from Dallas. Tom Landry did not want his team practicing on AstroTurf. And it may have an effect overall on the football team. I can't tell you, but there is no excuse for 53 total yards offense and allowing 186 in the first half in a game that there is no tomorrow. They have to win. They can't rely on the Oakland Raiders to beat San Diego tomorrow night.
Let's take a look at some of the halftime statistics here. Well, we have an opportunity before the third quarter kickoff, and they will reflect the score of 14-3 in favor of the Bears.
You see the total yards there. That's gross yards. Net yards for the Denver Broncos, 53. They have 13 yards passing. Of course, that takes into account the sacks. They have Morton is 5 of 11 for 1 interception. None of those things are very impressive for the Denver Broncos. And I repeat, they're a team that there was no reason, no justification for playing this poorly in one half. And now their backs are to the wall. And of course, the Chicago Bears have had great success with that strange defense they run, the 5-6. So it adds fuel to Chicago's fire.
If the Broncos make the playoffs, either as a wild card team or as a division winner, they figure to be on the road most, if not all of the time. So eventually they're going to have to get their act together away from Mile High Stadium one way or the other, or it's going to be a quick exit from the playoffs.
You make an excellent point. Of course, Super Bowl is played on AstroTurf and away from home, so you can't go to this point in the season in a must-win situation and talk about AstroTurf and away records. You got to play it like you won the Western Division Championship.
Because of the blustery winds, they had to hold the ball for Steinfurt on his kickoff. And now Vince Evans makes his reappearance. And again, to check the lineup, Matt Suhey is out, didn't practice all week. Roland Harper gets the start at fullback with Walter Payton, who is also less than 100%. Watts, Robin Earl, and Baschnagel are the targets. And there's the offensive line, which has protected Vince Evans pretty well today. And when that protection is broken down, Evans has used his mobility to scramble twice for important first downs. After the touchback, at the 20-yard line. Back set up in the eye. The second man is Walter Payton. Payton for a couple. And Keith Van Horn exchanging some pleasantries with Barney Chavis. 3-4 unit, but they have played a lot of 4 down linemen trying to stop Payton and Harper. There are the linebackers. And again, we remind you that Louis Wright and Perry Smith are still on injured reserve. If the Broncos make the playoffs, Louis Wright eligible to return next week. Evans sacked for the first time today. Barney Chavis was there, number 79, and Tom Jackson arrived from his linebacker spot.
And Bob, I might mention he beat the young man that he was exchanging pleasantries with, one Keith Van Horn, a rookie out of USC. You'll see coming from the left-hand side of the screen. He goes right around Van Horn. And that helps psychologically the Denver Bronco football team to get off on the right foot in the second half. 3rd and
15 from the 15. The numbers on Chavis this year. 13:58 to play. Quarter number 3. Bears lead it by a score of 14-3. They go with the draw. Payton needs 15 yards. He'll get about 7 instead. And Bob Parsons will now break the NFL record for most punts in a season. He shares it right now with John James of Atlanta.
Signs of life from the Denver Bronco defense. You'll watch Tom Jackson here, the weak side outside linebacker, avoids 2 blocks and still is able to get in on the tackle on Walter Payton. He's up a 4th down, and Parsons will be punting into the wind. Not a stiff wind, but a breeze.
Upchurch, the deep man, standing inside the 45-yard line of Denver. Parsons' kick is high and not terribly deep. A fair catch is called for and made at the Chicago 45. So if they're looking for a comeback, this is a good place to start after just a 23-yard punt by Bob Parsons. You make a guy punt more than 100 times in a season, what do you expect? Eventually his leg gives out.
I think this is now the best field position that the Denver Broncos have had since the first quarter, Bob.
13:06 to play in the third. Down by 11.
Two tight ends, one wide receiver, and an I formation by the Denver Broncos.
Larry Canada. Canada gets outside and picks up 5. Harrison Fensick on the stop. If Denver loses here, they can still get into the playoffs, but they'll need help somewhere else. They'll need Green Bay to beat the Jets, or they will need Oakland to beat San Diego tomorrow night in the Monday night game, which is an interesting matchup. Oakland is virtually invincible on Monday night. At least that's what history tells us. But this year especially, home teams have been very tough in the Monday night spotlight, and San Diego is at home.
I think the Broncos would prefer not dealing with all those ifs, Bob. Just win today.
And again, the halftime score is the Jets 21 and Green Bay 3, so that doesn't look very good, and neither does this. Fensick intercepts. Gary Fensick along the sideline, and now there's nothing between him and the goal line. yards for a Chicago touchdown. Gary Fensick, his 6th interception of the season, the first one he has returned for a touchdown, and we're told officially the return is for 69 yards.
Ball should never have been thrown. Look at there's nobody even close. In a great season by Craig Morton, that is one of the low spots, I would think. And there wasn't any receiver around there except for Fensick to catch the football.
Rivetto for the 21st point. There it is. They were down by 11. They got the ball at the Chicago 45 and maybe a chance to close the gap. Suddenly they find themselves down 18 with 12:09 to play third quarter.
Yes, New York, I think we have that information coming in.
These busy executives in 3 different cities are all at the same conference, a teleconference. They solve their problems without leaving the office through the Bell Network, the world's most advanced information management system. That reduces travel, cuts costs, gets more done. You are also part of the network. Use it. Put our knowledge to work for you. The Information Management Network from Bell.
Some people thought it was risky to taste test my Schlitz against other top beers on live TV, but not our people here at Schlitz. We figured a lot of beer drinkers would pick Schlitz over their beer, and they did. Second hopping, Russ?
Right.
In my 40 years as a master brewer, I've never been more proud of my people or my beer. We'll keep brewing great beer, so more of you will keep choosing it. Taste our Schlitz.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Has the cold weather got you down? Escape to Hawaii. Top pros hang 10 through pounding surf in men's World Cup surfing. Then America's best men gymnasts take on a dynamic Chinese team in U.S.-China gymnastics, plus wild jet ski racing. Next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
Not only Gary Fensick's first touchdown this year, first touchdown of his NFL career. Rivetto kicks. Arden lets it go into the end zone for the touchback.
Now Denver's faced with a situation where they got to uncork it. They cannot be conservative. They've got almost a half of the game left, but second interception by Craig Morton. The first one, you can't really blame him. It bounced off Riley Odom's chest, but that was thrown right at Gary Fensick.
The wind is with the Broncos here in this third quarter. Down 21-3, 80 yards from the Bear goal line. And Larry Canada can move them only a couple yards closer before Jim Osborne brings him down.
things that's really cost Denver today, too, if I may make mention. They have gotten very few yards on first down situations, and they've allowed Chicago to come in with that odd defense.
Got to look at Mike Singletary a moment ago. His interception in the first half set up a Chicago touchdown. Vincent's interception here led to another. There's the 5th sack. Dan Hampton.
That's now 60 for the season against the Denver Broncos, and you might as well start the airplane engine. The Chicago Bears are rolling, and the Denver Broncos are someplace else today. You'll see the pressure outside. I believe Dan Hampton beats Claudie Miner, one of their best offensive pass blocking tackles. And that's an interesting statistic. They've now had 11 in 2 games, and this one ain't over yet.
Thus far today, the Broncos are just 1 of 6 on converting third downs. This is 3rd and 16 with 10:52 to play in the third quarter, trailing 21-3. They lob it out. They've got a man open. It's Wade Manning. He makes the catch. He evades a tackler. He's in Chicago territory near the 45-yard line.
That's the good news. Bad news is penalty on Denver.
You're right. So the jubilation of Upchurch and Manning, short-lived. 41-yard gain negated.
Now, Bob, we've spoken of this before, but in a situation like this, in a game that you must win, unfortunately, none of these players have accelerators, nor do they have gears. There is no way that you can just push a player to 110% performance. It just can't be done. I don't know if it's the cold. I don't know if it's the travel. I don't know what kind of weeks worth of practice they had, but the Denver Broncos have not come out here and played like they are Western Division champions.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face, number 64, offense, repeat third down.
Bill Bryan with the penalty, the center, number 64. There he is.
Hagan Moses now in the game at the bottom of your screen.
3rd and 21 from the 9. Firing to the right sideline and nearly intercepted. Jeff Fisher made the diving attempt. And now Prestage will kick out of the end zone.
There's that chancy defense. They blitz both inside safeties. Used man-on-man coverage, and the Bear fans love it.
Standing O at Soldier Field.
That's just to get warm.
That's almost impossible. 4th and 21. Fisher is back at the 40-yard line as the deep man for Chicago at the Bear 40. Prestige's last punt covered 48 yards. This is also a good effort. Fisher fields it at the 40. He'll bring this one back. And into Bronco territory at the 48. Rob Lytle made the tackle. A 51-yard punt and a 12-yard return. 10 minutes and 26 seconds to play third quarter. Bears 21, Broncos 3. Cold or no cold, they're having a good time at Soldier Field with the Bears in front and perhaps headed for their 3rd consecutive victory to close out the season. 21-3. And at the 48-yard line of the Broncos to start this possession. You saw Marjoram in motion at the bottom of your screen. Evans fires over the middle and almost a great catch by Marjoram. He is among the more acrobatic receivers you'll find anywhere, and perhaps on a day not quite this cold he would have held that one.
Made the all-rookie squad in the NFC. Now, Bob, I noticed before the ball was snapped, the Tampa Bay still on top of Detroit now in the third quarter. As I was going to say, though, Chicago Bear offensive linemen were dancing to the music here. They're having fun today. They're not having any problems at all, leading 21-3. The nervousness is on the side of the Denver Broncos, and it certainly shows.
In the passing situation, Payton goes out. Harper remains as the lone back. 2nd and 10 from the 48-yard line. Evans, well protected, heaves one long. This is well covered and intercepted.
He's got a chance.
He's got some blockers in front of him. It's Dennis Smith. Smith down the sideline, runs by one tackler. He's still on his feet and finally dumped at the 22. Well, this could be the kind of tonic that the Broncos need. officially, we're calling that a 47-yard return.
That ball was terribly underthrown by Vince Evans. The receiver didn't even catch sight of the football. You'll see Dennis Smith, catch sight of it quickly. Watch this ball. Very, very underthrown. Almost 5 yards underthrown. The receiver doesn't even know that the ball was thrown at all. And then a convoy of Denver Broncos. And as has been the case for this football team from Denver for many, many years, the defense comes up with a big play. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line of the Chicago Bears. If they come back and win this one, they will be grabbing victory from the jaws of defeat, Bob.
10:06 left. 3rd quarter. Still plenty of time, but they're down by 18. Well protected this time. Flips it out to Upchurch. Upchurch doing his dance along the sideline, and Upchurch is inside the 10-yard line where it will be 1st and goal. We'll come back with the next play in just a moment, but it's time to check with NFL 81 in New York. An update from Bryant Gumbel.
Okay, Bob, in the final NFL game to be played at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, the Chiefs have moved ahead of the Vikings 10-3. Steve Fuller going to Stan Rome for 15 yards. If the Chiefs can win, they'll have their first winning year since '73. Bob?
And here, Bryant, it's 1st and goal at the 7-yard line for the Broncos. Sun shining brightly still at Soldier Field. Sun warming things up here to about 14 degrees. It was 7 yesterday.
Okay, Bob, in the final NFL game to be played at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, the Chiefs have moved ahead of the Vikings 10-3. Steve Fuller going to Stan Rome for 15 yards. If the Chiefs can win, they'll have their first winning year since '73. Bob?
And here, Bryant, it's 1st and goal at the 7-yard line for the Broncos. Sun shining brightly still at Soldier Field. Sun warming things up here to about 14 degrees. It was 7 yesterday. Preston struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe pick up half a yard. Mike Singletary smacked him, and Brian Cabral was also there.
Singletary did a fine job. Ran around the block. It looked like a fold block up the middle. He was there to meet the running back before he got to the line of scrimmage.
Call it no gain, and 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line. 9.5 minutes remaining.
It's not a bad stat right there. 3 pretty good teams, although the Vikings ran the ball, I believe, the last time in 1974.
Rob Lytle is in the lineup now, number 41. Morton will throw for it. Incomplete. Off the hands of Canada. Now it's 3rd and goal. In this department, 3rd down conversions, the Broncos are 1 of 7 thus far.
He's got to throw it quick. Once again, Hartenstein absolutely unblocked. That's the 3rd time I have seen that today. Canada appears to be somewhat injured. Doesn't have a lot of mobility out there on the field. You see him limping. But boy, if Chicago keeps the Denver Broncos out of the end zone once again.
The Bears have held 5 of their last 6 opponents to under 300 yards in total offense. With 9:10 to play in the 3rd quarter, Denver doesn't have 100 net yards yet. 3rd and goal from the 7. Morton eludes the rush, throws into the end zone, incomplete. Preston and Reed were both there. Preston was the target.
You got to go for the 6 points. 21-6, 15 down. Big decision here. You see Morton, he steps up. He's waiting for the receiver to get open. He does, throws it. Should have been caught. Should have been caught. It was right in the breadbasket. And, of course, with the temperature today, it is tough to hang on to.
As a matter of fact, Fisher, number 24, who had the coverage, turned around as if he was upset at himself for blowing the play, but fortunately for him, Preston couldn't hold it.
That's unusual, too. Preston's got good hands.
They will go for it, but they want to talk about the 4th down play selection. Timeout, Denver. All right, here's the situation. 9:05 to play 3rd quarter at Soldier Field. Bears 21, Broncos 3. 4th and goal for Denver at the Chicago 7. They do not use the shotgun. There's motion along the line.
Oh,
there are
did
flags. Morton throws and completes it for a touchdown to Riley Odoms.
But, Bob, I'll tell you, the intention of that play was to draw the Chicago Bears offsides, get half the distance to the goal, and then call a play. And it worked, and they still scored the touchdown. be darned. How about that? Great thinking on the part of Dan Reeves and his offensive coaches, trying to draw the Chicago Bears offside.
Offside, defense, declined, touchdown.
How about that? That's a fine play. You can see as soon as 82, Alan Page gets across the line of scrimmage, they snap the ball, but they come up with 6 points. Back in the ball game, 21-9.
Riley Odoms catches his 5th touchdown pass of the year. Craig Morton throws his 21st, which ties his personal high set back in 1969 with the Cowboys. To make it 21-10. Berg holds, Steinfeld kicks, and it's perfect. We have exactly 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. The Broncos show some signs of life, but they still trail the Bears in a must-win 21-10. Interception and a long return by Dennis Smith set them up at the 20-yard line. And the Broncos evidently have diagnosed their problem. 1 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. They just had to get to 4th down to get something done.
Interesting point.
Moorhead to return. Fighting for extra yardage around the 25-yard line. That fella, as soon as we put him on camera, got hit in the face with a snowball, which evidently is the least of his worries.
My goodness.
He's a man who quite apparently is not altogether well.
Say going through life missing a couple of dots from his dice.
21-10, the Bears in front. An epidemic of snowball fights breaking out at Giddy Soldier Field. Harper carries. He scored a touchdown earlier. He gets about 4. Give the tackle to Barney Chavis and Reuben Carter.
Suddenly the Chicago Bear offensive linemen are not dancing anymore.
Santa Claus finding a comfortable place amidst the Honey Bears.
Guy gets all the breaks.
His Christmas wishes already fulfilled. 2nd down 6. They give it to Harper. Gets perhaps 3. It'll be 3rd and 3 as we pause briefly for station identification on the NBC television network.
This is WMAQ-TV, Chicago.
Bob Costas, Bob Trumpy in Chicago, where the Bears lead Denver 21-10.
Those guys sitting down there, there's about 5 of them without shirts on. The Bears are 3 of 6 in 3rd down conversions here. This is a big one. The Broncos, on the other hand, 1 of 8 for this ball game.
3rd and a short 3. They asked Peyton to get it, and he doesn't. 4th down coming up, and before the punt, here's Bryant Gumbel in New York.
Okay, Bob, here's a little glimpse of the action going on in Baltimore. Patriots, Tom Owen going back, going 15 yards to Don Westbrook, touchdown. And in the race for the #1 pick, the Colts are winning because they're losing, 14-10. Bob?
You know, if they really wanted to put the pressure on, they could play a situation where if you have the worst record in the league, you have to drop out of the league. Revocation of franchise. Flag goes down.
Interesting, too, that the flag was thrown on a player coming off the field. He was obviously wishing Merry Christmas to the official standing on the sideline. Unsportsmanlike conduct, I would suspect.
Let's run down that crew. Gordon McCarter is the referee. The umpire is Ron Bochin. The head linesman Ernie France. Line judge Jack Fetty. Back judge Jimmy Rosers. Side judge Ron D'Souza. And the field judge Armand Terzian.
I believe it was 52 who said some unpleasantries to the line judge. Who did you say that was?
The line judge, sir,
Jack Fetty.
Is Jack Fetty, correct.
Let's see what happens.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Still 4th down.
It was 52, and it was unsportsmanlike conduct. Well, the Chicago Bears are now allowing the Denver Broncos to get back in the ballgame. They'll have good field position, barring a turnover.
Dan Neal, number 52, was the guilty party on the penalty. Upchurch is standing near midfield. Parsons another short kick. They let it bounce and then field it at the 45 and quickly down. 37 yards on the kick. The roll added a bit to it. Word from the Denver sideline is that Rick Parros has an ankle injury and will not return today. The aerial view of Soldier Field, where the Bears still lead it 21-10.
We'll open your eyes.
Great picture. What kind of...
RCA color track.
Thought they only made the big ones.
Guess you thought wrong.
I have an RCA.
Really?
Big projection TV.
Let RCA open your eyes.
Really?
From our smallest color track to our giant bright projection TV.
What do you think?
The picture's gorgeous, Bob.
George.
We'll open your eyes. Open your eyes. RCA.
Chevy says, blow away everything you know about pickups. When you compare standard S10s and Dodge Ram 50s, Dodge blows Chevy away. Ram 50 carries 500 pounds more payload. Its gutsier engine gives more pulling power, and Ram 50 gives you a choice. Introducing Power Ram 50, Four-Wheeler Magazine's four-wheel drive truck of the year.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
Ram Tough Dodge Trucks. Get $300 to $1,000 cash on select new Dodge cars and trucks. See participating dealers for details.
The view from our NBC telecopter, and it gives us a chance to send out our thanks and congratulations for a job well done to our technical crew today, all the engineers and cameramen working under some very cold and uncomfortable conditions and working well as they have all season long. Morton on first down, wants to go deep. He throws the home run ball, but it won't be there. Watson was the target, and Watson is going through a long drought. Didn't catch a pass in the entire game last week against Seattle, and he's been blanked so far today, and Detroit moves back to tie it at home against Tampa Bay in the battle for the championship in the Central.
I have a question for you. What if those two teams tie? What happens then?
Trump, your problem is that you ask too many questions.
I'm sorry. I'm
the
very
answer
sorry.
to that is so complicated that it would require an hour to unravel it. Actually, Green Bay had a chance to sneak in a certain situation if those two teams tied. However, Green Bay is presently losing 21-3 to the Jets, which is their first concern.
Morton now 7 of 18 on the day, 66 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Second and 10.
Upchurch is open.
Does he have him? No, he lobbed it out there too softly, and that allowed Schmidt to come over and break it up. If he had had a bit more on the throw, Upchurch was gone.
Credit the lack of a bit more on the throw to Dan Hampton, 99. Just got Morton's face, and he was not able to really follow through. But you'll see Upchurch, he's open. And if the ball is properly thrown, that is out ahead of him. They got a long reception. That is a great, terrific job by Terry Schmidt to break up that pass. That came within the width of one hand to being 6 points.
6:36 on the third quarter clock. Third down 10. 45-yard line of Chicago. They shift into the spread. The Broncos trail at 21-10.
Got that 5-6 defense in there, Bob.
Morton fires. And incomplete. Fourth down coming up. But first, Bryant Gumbel once again at NFL 81 in New York.
Okay, Bob, in Baltimore, the Colts have taken over the lead, and the Butler did it. Raymond Butler. Burt Jones back to throw, hits number 80. He takes it in. 53-yard scoring play. It's 17-14 Colts in the second. Bob?
4th and 10 from the 45-yard line.
In defense of Craig Morton, this ball should have been caught. He's in the dead spot of the zone, and he lets the ball play him, just like the shortstop should not do, instead of him playing the ball. He did not have his hands ready. And of course, in defense of Rick Upchurch, the ball was thrown before he turned around and got a look at the quarterback, and that's hard to catch.
Prestige to kick.
Good punt. Oh, no, bad punt.
It goes out of bounds in the air in the vicinity of the 20-yard line, but they could have done much better than that. Now they're walking upfield, closer to the 30, at about the 27. So the net on this is just 17 yards.
My goodness. My goodness. And it goes bad in bunches.
This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience, and a rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. Bears with the 11-point lead and the ball. 6:24 to play in the third quarter. Walter Payton carries on first down and can't go anywhere. He's thrown for a loss.
Great job by 51 Bob Swenson. Not only took on the running back block of Roland Harper, but then managed to get a guard out of the way, and the pursuit caught up. The Denver defense is catching on, but I wonder if it's just a little too late.
Bob Swenson was voted the defensive MVP of this Bronco team, which had the best overall defense in the league.
And if the Chicago Bears win this game, I remind the fans that they will then be 4-0 against the AFC Western Division opponents.
Denver's had good success against the NFC Central. They're 3-0 against teams from that division, but something's got to give here today. Payton. This will leave them with third down and perhaps 9.
And Chicago has turned very, very conservative. Apparently more than happy to sit on their 21-10 lead and not make the big turnover.
Oh, there's too much time left, Trump, to sit on anything like an 11-point lead.
They're 5-10. They have no reason in the world to sit there and hope to be 6-10 or 5-11. I mean, you got to go out and take the ball game. You've controlled the game for the entire day, while all of a sudden you go in the shell.
Walter Payton, who's averaging 3.6 yards per carry for the year, is just about at that average today. 11 carries for 38 yards. It's third and closer to 9 than 7. And they get nothing and have to punt. Bashnagel is screaming for pass interference.
That was very, very close. That was well defended. And the point of the ball hit him right on the shoulder pads, and it bounced right out of his hands. You'll see the coverage here. Coming from the outside is Dennis Smith once again. You see his arms go over him. That's a great play. That is an outstanding play. That's the way coaches teach their defensive backs.
Bob Parsons' last kick was not an especially good one. Let's see what he can come up with here. Against no rush at all. A low returnable kick. Upchurch at the 40, at the 45, and again Denver gets the ball in good shape. About an 8-yard return after just a 31-yard punt by Parsons. Coming up the second half of today's NFL NBC doubleheader. Cincinnati, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Houston, Cleveland, Seattle. You won't see all 3 of those games. You will see one of them depending upon where you are.
The Denver Broncos to this point in the second half with 4:46 to go in the third quarter. Grand total of 2 first downs.
Their touchdown was set up by a long return off an interception by Dennis Smith. Morton retreating and throwing it right into the arms of Al Harris. Well, that was room service. And now Harris might go all the way. Harris for the touchdown. The second interception return for a touchdown in this second half. Talk to you now as they whoop it up at Soldier Field.
There's no pictures to describe. There's no words to describe that. There was a poorly thrown ball. Morton's had 3 interceptions, 2 of them returned for touchdowns.
Rovetto for the 28th point, which would equal Chicago's biggest output of the season. 28-10. So against a Chicago team which has sputtered offensively all season long, the Broncos have handed them 2 touchdowns directly on interception returns, one by Fensick, one by Harris, and one of their 2 first-half touchdowns was set up by an interception in Denver territory by linebacker Mike Singletary. As a matter of fact, the only Bronco touchdown of the game was set up by an interception of their own as Dennis Smith ran one back to the 20-yard line of the Bears, and they took it in from there.
There is some irony in that touchdown return, or in that interception return for a touchdown. Al Harris's parents, guess where they live?
Denver.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you too.
hasn't been bad talking with you for 16 weeks this season.
My pleasure, sir.
We have seen some great ball games.
Yes, we have.
We have been involved in a little controversy.
Who?
Say yes, we have, Trump.
Yes, we have, Trump.
Good.
I wonder if Dan Reeves is considering on the sideline going with Steve DeBerg or Mark Herman. This is not Craig Morton's day. I mean, I don't know why, but this is not Craig Morton's day. I'm wondering if he's seriously considering going with someone else. He's got a quarter and a half left.
He is down by 18. He was the youngest head coach in the NFL, but he is aging considerably today in Chicago. Rovetto. And they let it go out of bounds, and that'll cost the Bears 5. The edge Rovetto has over Thomas, who was injured earlier this season, replaced by Rovetto, but now is healthy enough to return, but they elect to keep Rovetto. The edge that he has is that he kicks off longer than Thomas and has better range on long field goal attempts. Accuracy, you'd have to go with Thomas.
They haven't needed him today. It's interesting, I believe, that the Denver Broncos, if they had won this football game today, they would have made the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years, which would have been the best record in the AFC. And if they had won today, well, the game is not over, but if they had won today, they would have won the AFC Western Division title 3 of the last 5 years. So much for that fairy tale ending.
Well, the Broncos evidently are not getting any help at all from Green Bay today at Shea Stadium. They may have to look for some help from Oakland tomorrow night in San Diego, or their season will end today at Soldier Field, barring a miracle.
Well, regardless of what happens, one of the advantages, of course, to winning your division is that you get next week off. And they might be able to get Louis Wright and Perry Smith back in the lineup by not having to play till the 27th, or no, the 10th. As it is, if they do get in, have to play next week.
Assuming they don't come back to win today. They kick it on the ground, and again, the Broncos are going to get good field position as Larry Canada brings it back nearly to the 45. Todd Bell made the tackle. Let's see what's happening at Shea Stadium. Still 21-3 in favor of the Jets. What a weekend for New York football fans.
Craig Morton at quarterback. Yes, the Giants overtime win yesterday. That's the most raucous, I believe, the Meadowlands has ever been.
And Giant fans became Jet fans 24 hours later because they needed a Green Bay loss to get into those playoffs, and the Jets apparently are providing that for them. Doing what the Giants couldn't do because the Packers beat the Giants twice this year. In an 18-point hole, Morton retreats to throw. And this one is on the money. Steve Watson finally makes a catch, a most unaccustomed feeling for him the past couple of weeks. He had 9 touchdown receptions in the first 7 games this year. He tapered off a bit after that to a total of 13 for the year. He hasn't caught a touchdown pass in his last 4 games, counting this one, and hadn't caught a pass at all in almost 7 quarters before pulling in that 23-yard reception.
I'll tell you what, the Chicago Bears have certainly turned conservative here, too. They're going to give up a lot of receptions underneath the coverage, not allow the big play.
And in fact, the Bear offense has done zip in this 3rd quarter. Morton gets it away just as he's hit. They don't let you catch him on one hop. Morton is hurt.
Al Harris, once again, he has been... Craig Morton has either been sacked or pressured all day long. He is leaving the field with some sort of injury.
To his right hand, his throwing hand.
And it appears that Steve DeBerg is warming up. Now, there have been several instances today where it appears there's been a defensive lineman almost untouched, but you'll see Harris come from the left. That's why the ball is not thrown with any zip on it. That's why Morton is hurt. Hopefully it's not serious. And Steve DeBerg comes in to take over for Craig Morton, formerly of the San Francisco 49ers.
By way of San Jose State in his 5th NFL season.
And if he brings this football team back, he's going to change his name to Houdini.
DeBerg, 61% completions on 50 of 82. 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions thus far. Second and 10 from the Bear 33. Pitch it back to Larry Canada. Gets a good block. And is to the 25-yard line. Jim Osborne and Gary Fensick combined on the tackle. Gain of 8, leaving them with 3rd and 2.
That's Craig Morton with the jacket on. No doctors checking what's wrong, but looks like he may have stoved his finger or thumb or something like that. Still warming up.
Now another 3rd down for the Broncos, who are 1 of 9, converting them thus far today.
Here they come.
They don't get DeBerg, however, and DeBerg gets the touchdown. Rick Upchurch hauls it in. There was a flag down along the sideline, which might have been a Bear pass interference, and I think the touchdown is going to stand.
You see the blitz, that means single coverage, and it's picked up. A good job by Preston, almost picking up both guys, 24 and 46. And Upchurch just outruns Terry Schmidt for the touchdown.
And there you see it, Schmidt with the pass interference, obviously, Trump, which
26 yards on the touchdown, and that's given the Denver Broncos a little hope. Now you're faced with the situation if you're Dan Reeves. Do you let Craig Morton go back in? Do you stay with DeBerg? You most assuredly come with an onside kick this next kickoff. You got to get the ball back. Take chances now, down 28-17.
Each time the Bronco offense has made noises about bringing them back, the defense of the Bears has answered with an interception return for a touchdown. So they get 7, they give up 7.
Yeah, there are going to be some people who question the onside kick, but the offense of the Chicago Bears has turned very, very conservative. I believe now maybe the Denver Broncos defense can hold them. And you got to let it all hang out here.
The touchdown for Upchurch was his 2nd of the year. And again, we remind you, the best college bowl lineup ever on NBC Sports New Year's Day begins at 1:30 Eastern Time. Penn State against USC in the Fiesta Bowl, then Washington and Iowa in the Rose Bowl, and then what could be the national championship game, #1 Clemson against #4 Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, all New Year's Day and night on NBC Sports.
And then prescriptions for glasses will be submitted by all people watching all 3 of those games. The 26-yard completion from DeBerg to Upchurch, longest of the day by the Denver Broncos, 26 yards.
.245 to play in the 3rd quarter. Emory Moorhead. Flag goes down, and so does Moorhead. And another flag on top of that.
.58, I believe, is going to get flagged for the late hit on Denver. There's a man who should be out there on the field.
I think he should be someplace other than the field or the stands.
Someplace where they have padded walls, maybe.
Here's Gordon McCarter again.
Illegal block above the waist from behind. Number 81 receiving team. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 58 of the kicking team. The receivers will keep the ball at the furthest back spot. First down.
That's why, not the hit, but the manner of the hit. And that is not a very smart play by Steve Busick.
Robert Earl got the penalty for the Bears and Busick for the Broncos.
That is not a very smart play at all. I mean, they could have had him back in half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul on the illegal block in the back.
As it is, they spot the ball just across the 20 with 2:36 to play 3rd quarter. 28-17, the Bears lead it.
It appears that maybe Denver will stay with DeBerg.
They tell us from the sideline that Morton's hand is still numb, and they don't know if he'll be back. They pitch it to the back man in the eye, Payton, who stutter steps his way out of some trouble, and Walter Payton, on a marvelous run, gets close to the first down.
Jackson laid a hit on Roland Harper, and Roland Harper was getting up, shaking his head. Watch 35-57, kapow. And Jackson almost makes the tackle. And then there's no support left.
It is a first down at the 31-yard line. Harper now out, and John Skabinski makes his initial appearance, number 30. Tampa Bay jumps back in front, and now they're in the fourth quarter at the Silverdome. What a time this would be for the Lions to lose at home for the first time this year. Peyton slips one tackle. Straight arm Smith. Wow. And slides out of bounds. He's had longer runs, but still, that's pretty impressive.
Now, I hope to tell you, to be confronted 3 yards deep in the offensive backfield, somehow get by that gentleman. We'll see 51, 57 Tom Jackson, then step outside of Dennis Smith and still pick up, what, 4.5, 5 yards? That's a gifted athlete right there.
Peyton averaging just about 4 yards a carry today. They're going to make him the workhorse on this drive. A flag goes down, which stops the clock with 1:35 remaining, and it's against Chicago.
I believe Walter Payton kind of rocked out of his stance there a little prematurely. And it'll be 5 yards. Watch Walter. You can't really tell when the ball is snapped, but you can see he moved early. And that's no.
Illegal motion, number 34, offense, repeat, second down.
So they back it up 5, making it second down 10.
I noticed that the Bears have number 87, Mike Cobb, in. He is their blocking tight end. I think it would be way down the list of priorities to throw the football here by the Chicago Bears.
They hardly ever throw it in the direction of their tight ends in any event. And they give it to Peyton, who has to struggle for a yard, if that. While the Bears lead by 11, their fans do not appreciate the conservative approach.
That is correct.
Evans' passing stats thus far, 7 of 13, 92 yards. He's had 1 intercepted, and he's thrown for 1 touchdown. Peyton caught that, a 19-yarder in the first half. 3rd and 10. 55 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Whistles and flags. The catch was made by Baschnagel. I don't know if the play counts, however, even if the penalty is against Denver.
Play will not count anytime if there is a whistle in the middle of the play.
Ball starts, number 64, offense before the play.
Ted Albrecht moved prematurely.
Evans has thrown only 1 pass in this quarter.
Is that right? I didn't realize that. Huh.
3rd and 15 now. The ball backed up to the 26. Chicago 28 and Denver 17. The Bears 5 and 10. She couldn't prove that by asking anybody in the AFC West. Kansas City, San Diego, and Oakland have fallen before them, and Denver may become victim number 4.
Oh, that's Chicago offsides again. 89, Ken Marjoram. Jumped offside, so it'll take 5 yards again, or they'll take the down, 4th down.
Which appears more likely. So now Parsons will have to punt.
Illegal motion, number 80, decline,
I think he had the wrong gentleman. 89, Ken Marjoram, was on the other side of the field. I believe he was the man in motion.
Parsons has not had an especially good day. Cold temperatures like this don't help a kicker, but Parsons is used to it, having kicked in the NFC Central for 10 seasons.
I was going to say, he's kicking against the wind, which certainly doesn't help either.
This is one of his better kicks. Upchurch, back inside the 35. Does Little dance, tries to get outside, and is out of bounds, shy of the 40-yard line. A 50-yard boot that time by Bob Parsons. And a reminder that we have ball games coming up after this one in the second half of our NBC doubleheader, either Cincinnati, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Houston, or Cleveland, Seattle, depending upon where in the country you are.
All three of those warmer than here. And Steve DeBerg back at quarterback now for the Denver Broncos.
Last time he threw one, it went for a touchdown to Rick Upchurch. .27 seconds to play, third quarter. The Bears 28, the Broncos 17. DeBerg in trouble. Alan Page can't get to him before he releases it.
And they don't call it a sack? Huh. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a rule that certainly caused some headaches for a lot of people. He was clearly in the grasp of Alan Page. You see Page run around the offensive guard, and watch him. He spins DeBerg around. Bob, I'll tell you this, in the 16 games we've done, I've seen a lot of situations where that's called a sack.
That call and the difference between a short completion, one which is held for just a few seconds, and a fumble, are easily the two touchiest for the officials. Even more difficult, I would think, than pass interference. Second down 10. Waning seconds of the third quarter. That one's on the money. Clock will continue to run. Watson making his second catch of the day, and it's good for a first down. That's the last play of the third quarter. They got 12 on it. They're in Chicago territory at the Bear 49. At the end of the third quarter, the score is the Bears 28, Broncos 17. Back after these messages from your local station. Steve DeBerg and the Broncos are moving against the wind as we start the fourth quarter. They trail by 11, 28-17. They're in Chicago territory at the Bear 49. Two interception returns for touchdowns by Fensick and Harris, the difference in the ballgame, both coming in the third quarter for the Bears. DeBerg with lots of time, and with the receiver, Preston makes the catch out of the backfield and gets about 8 yards. Let's see where they will spot it. They're going to move it to the 40, so give him 9, and it's 2nd and 1.
Tampa extends its lead over Detroit 20-10 with a field goal.
This was hardly what Monty Clark and the Lions expected at the Silverdome, where they've been close to invincible this year.
With a touchdown, excuse me, not with a field goal, with a touchdown.
14:20 left in this game, and 14:20 left in the NFL career of Alan Page, who has had a fine game for the Bears today. Rob Lytle gets the first down.
That was a very late flag.
And there is a penalty marker down.
Holding. Yeah. That was a very, very late flag.
Perhaps it had frozen in the pocket of the official.
Possibly. I think they're going to call it on 62, Tom Glassick of the Denver Broncos. When it rains, it pours.
Pace it back to midfield. A look of disbelief on the face of Dan Reeves.
Number 62, offense, repeat, second down.
And it is Glassick whom they hit with the penalty. Second down and 11 now from midfield. 14:09 to play in the ball game.
Receivers now for the Denver Broncos, and that 5-6 set up by the Bears.
DeBerg to the sideline for the completion.
And they're going to tack 15 yards on it too, because 25 went to Watson's head.
Todd Bell grabbed him up around the helmet. So Watson, who has suddenly come to life here in the second half, has his third reception.
Watch the pattern. Man-on-man coverage with the blitz. Bell slips a little bit. Watson makes a good catch. Watch the left arm of 25 Todd Bell. That is illegal.
Now they're trying to set it up and pace it off. And they bring it all the way down to the 25 of Chicago for a first down.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 25, defense. Blow to the head. First down.
Now they bring the three linebackers, Singletary, Cabral, and Campbell back in. But much of the time they have been going with 5 down linemen and 6 defensive backs. Trying to come back from the dead here. DeBerg with the toss to Preston. And Preston stumbles out of bounds after a good gain. Well, earlier, Trump, you were calling for Steve DeBerg to come in the ball game because it wasn't Craig Morton's day. You hate to see anybody get hurt, least of all a guy like Morton who has taken more than his share of bumps and bruises through the years. But once Craig Morton departed, the Bronco attack picked up. At least today.
DeBerg has done an excellent job, and he appears to be getting a little more pass protection out of the offensive line. Now, everybody knows the lack of mobility that Craig Morton has, and maybe that gives a little more confidence to the offensive line of the Denver Broncos, but he's moved the team very well.
13:54 remaining. They get a touchdown here and move to within 4. You've got virtually an entire quarter. They go out of the shotgun now. He gets rid of it, and he's got his completion to Lytle. There's a flag down on the play.
That's a great throw, and that's one of the things that Craig Morton could not do in the face of that blitz, is put some steam on the ball. Illegal procedure. That's against Denver. So that'll make it second and what, about 7 or 8? I'll take it, yes. Once again, I repeat, Steve DeBerg has the ability to stand back there in the face of that pressure. Watch 24, Fisher come in, and he can get something on the ball out to the sideline, but it's for naught because it was illegal procedure.
Illegal motion. Offense. Repeat the down.
2nd and 7 with the ball pushed back to the 22-yard line. 13:51 to play in the game. Dan Reeves hoping for a miracle comeback, and it's really not that far out of the question.
For some reason, it appears to me that the Denver Bronco penalties, those 7, have been a lot bigger penalties than the Chicago penalties. They just come at the most inopportune times.
They need 7 yards on 2nd down, and now they'll need the same on 3rd.
Upchurch went in, DeBerg threw out. Lack of communication somewhere. Don't know who was mistaken.
It seems, getting back to your point about the penalties, Trump, that the Bear penalties have come here in the second half when essentially on offense they've just been trying to waste some time, grind the clock, or they've come on kick plays which have not cost them valuable yardage and set them back into 3rd and 20 situations.
Now the Broncos are in a situation where obviously they're in a 2-down situation. So there's no reason to go for the distance here. Just try to make a completion down the field as opposed to throwing the ball in the end zone.
See, 3rd down conversions haven't exactly been a Denver strength thus far. DeBerg is 5 of 7 for 64 yards.
Oh.
And this one almost intercepted. Reuben Henderson, the rookie from San Diego State, their 6th-round draft choice, had it right in his mitts and couldn't hold it. Henderson wasn't expected to start about a half hour before game time. He had sprained an ankle in practice yesterday.
I'm not sure who he's throwing it to here.
It's Reuben Henderson, as you can clearly see.
He was open, but Avon Moses was the receiver on the outside. Upchurch was the receiver on the inside, but neither was close to the football.
I'll tell you what, with one good move, if he had held that, they would have had their 3rd interception return for a touchdown. He would have been gone.
Well, now it's 4th down and 8. Obviously, the Broncos must go for it from the shotgun. 5-6 defense now by the Chicago Bears.
Boy, the Broncos can't afford to squander an opportunity like this.
Oh, they got a penalty.
Along the line, they got a flag.
Free play.
Let's see if DeBerg can take advantage of it. Over Watson's head. But unless we are terribly mistaken, they're going to get 5 yards here and have 4th and 2.
That's see who it is. 99, Dan Hampton. Jumps into the neutral zone. That drives defensive coaches nuts because those defensive linemen are taught to watch the football, not listen to the quarterback.
4th down 2.
Well, Coach Costas, what do you call here?
Offside, number 99, defense, repeat 4th down.
Well, the Denver ground game has not been that effective, and Parros, who perhaps has been their best running back for the past few weeks, is not in the ball game. So you might very well throw, even though on 4th and 2, a run would appear to be an option.
I think you assign your best back in the ball game the ball and run behind your best offensive lineman. This is a real indicator of who the Denver Broncos trust the most in this situation.
They've got Canada and Preston as the backs. They go to the air for it, and it's dropped. If Preston had held it, he probably would have been able to take one step and get the first down. I don't think Fensick would have gotten there in time to stop him short of the stick. But Preston forgot step 1, which is to catch the ball. So the clock stops with exactly 13:30 to play in the ball game, and the score: the Bears 28, the Broncos 17. And a 28-17 Chicago lead. Walter Payton, 14 carries for 53 yards thus far to lead the Bear running game.
Look at
Evans
this.
Surprisingly to the air, the last thing they were expecting, and he gets big yardage out of it. Ricky Watts is on the receiving end.
This was the #1 defense in the AFC coming into the ball game for the Denver Broncos. Watts was almost completely uncovered. A zone situation, just found a dead spot. Evans on the money.
Good for 17. Exactly 13 minutes to play now. Ball at the 34. Harper protecting the football and rumbling for 4, maybe 5 yards.
For most of the day, the Chicago Bears have done an excellent job of gaining yardage right into the teeth of the #1 defense in the AFC, right up the middle. Reuben Carter, normally a terrific noseman, although he's out of the University of Miami, and I believe he's from that area. Maybe the cold affects him. He has not played a particularly good game. Look at that.
2nd and a short 6. Payton goes off right tackle and is shy of the first down by less than a yard, it would appear, from here. Tom Jackson made the stop.
And on that particular play, when it's getting a little chilly, Dan Neal, the center of the Chicago Bears, just stood up Reuben Carter. And of course, if you can beat the nose man in the 34 defense, you can beat the defense.
3rd and less than a yard. 11:45 remaining. 2 tight ends, Earl and Cobb, are in there. They are both good blockers. They are both virtually ignored in the Chicago attack as pass receivers.
That's close.
I believe Harper's forward progress will give him the first down.
I don't know. That's going to be close. Gradishore on the tackle here.
Depends upon where they mark it, Trump, but I think forward progress would give it to him.
It's a good hit. That's a good stopping tackle, and I do not believe they got it.
On the other hand, the officials do not see it the same way, which is always a problem.
And unfortunately for you and I, usually the case.
Now they're bringing the sticks out just to make us look a little bit better. I said, all right, look, you want to look? You want to have it proven to you? We'll take a look. What the heck? Evans wants to look. Sorry, Vince. 4th down. The fans want to gamble. Neil Armstrong has other ideas.
Well, you're 5 and 10. You could do one thing, and that is ruin an opponent's season.
And make some people in San Diego very, very happy. The Chargers watching this ball game intently. The Bears allowing them to wriggle off the hook and control their own fate tomorrow night against the Raiders.
Who is the up back there? Is that Skavinsky? No, it goes to punch. Oh, good punch.
Long spiral They let it bounce, hoping for the touchback, but it's out of bounds at the 2, maybe the 1. Yards on the Parsons punt.
First and 97.
First and 99. How about that?
We found out the hard way. You stand still in the car business, you get run over. So ever since, Chrysler's been moving ahead.
In the event of a deadlock at the top, the tiebreaker would belong to San Diego. If Denver loses here, and if the Chargers win tomorrow night against the Raiders. Seems like only moments ago, Denver was driving deep in Chicago territory. They coughed up the ball on downs, and they couldn't face a more awesome task than this. They're 99 yards away from the Bear goal line. Preston gives them some breathing room, out to about the 10. Brian Cabral, number 54, made the tackle.
Excellent block by 62. That was an off-guard sweep out there leading the way. I believe you're correct, Bob. The Chicago Bears did not expect that.
There's still plenty of time, Trump. 10:40 remaining. Clock running.
Well, if they drive the length of the field here, that's something they've not been able to do, with the exception of the first drive of the ball game. So momentum will have switched to their side of the line of scrimmage, and Steve DeBerg should get most of the credit.
Looking for the first down is Rob Lytle. Again, Brian Cabral, number 54, on the tackle. Otis Wilson, who normally starts at linebacker, has been suffering from turf toe and has seen only limited duty this afternoon, and Cabral has played in his place and played extremely well.
First down, Denver.
The dreaded turf toe, Trump, perhaps the most wicked of all NFL injuries.
Not terminal, but somewhat embarrassing.
Inside 10 minutes now remaining. Hospital ward has been full of Chicago Bears this year. Larry Canada carrying. And as they try and wedge out some yardage, they help the Bears by keeping the clock going. 9:35 left.
Question for you. Do both teams still have 3 timeouts left?
An answer which I will happily provide in just a few seconds.
Thank you very much, sir.
Denver has 2 timeouts remaining. The Bears have all 3 of theirs. DeBerg with plenty of time to fire long. He's got Upchurch wide open, and he hung it up there too long. Upchurch had a good 2, maybe 3 steps on the defense, but the throw didn't have enough on it, and Upchurch had to wait and circle back, and the defenders got there.
Watch the pattern by Upchurch. Obviously a zone, double rotation zone outside. The only guys there to cover him are the 2 safeties. You'll see them come into the picture, and that's an Upchurch sandwich. Pensick and Plank are the ones that provided the force. Now we got a final score here. Kansas City beat Minnesota 10-6.
But both are not in the playoff picture. While Rick Upchurch recovers, we'll tell you that there's 8:58 to play in the ballgame. The Bears still lead it by 11, and we'll come back to Soldier Field in Chicago.
The antihistamine effect, that drowsy, sleepy feeling you can get from cold remedies with antihistamines. What you need is wide awake relief. Introducing Neosynephrol Day Relief, the new decongestant capsule that lets you breathe clearly for up to 12 hours without antihistamines. So you're not drowsy, not sleepy. Breathe clearly without the antihistamine effect. Get new Neosynephrol Day Relief capsules for wide awake relief.
Radio Shack makes Christmas dreams come true. Whether it's on the track or off or on maneuvers, your kids control all the action with our incredible radio control toys. With an easy-to-operate transmitter, drive a race car, put a motorcycle...
Gary Fensick and Doug Plank, who have crunched their share of bones down through the years, sandwiched Upchurch, who wasn't seriously hurt but was shaken up.
It appears to be full trajectory, too, by Steve DeBerg. I believe Upchurch just had the wind knocked out of him, but of course what it does is take their best deep threat out of the ball game now.
On 3rd and 7, on the 15-yard line of Denver, 8:58 left. Bad snap to start their problems and a sack to finish them, all the way back near the goal line.
Then you saw a quick look at Dan Reeves, the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Now to add to their problems, Denver will have just 10 yards in the length of the football to get the ball away against the wind. And you see the bad snap by the center, which doesn't help. That's Billy Bryan and Hampton. And I couldn't see the other gentleman. Hampton and Page, I believe, were there to make the sack. Well,
going into last week's game with Oakland, the Bears had just 19 quarterback sacks for the year. They've had a combined total of 12 in the last 2 weeks. 6 against the Raiders, 6 against the Bronx. Fisher will return. And he will get inside the 35-yard line of Denver. 40-yard punt, 7-yard run back. Rob Lytle in the tackle. Eight minutes and 16 seconds left. Flag down on the play. Kansas City, their first winning season since 1972. Is that right? They wind up at 9-7. And the Vikings, who did a fast fade late in the season, 7-9.
Personal foul against Denver.
What a revolting development this is, says Dan Reeves. The whole day has been one series of headaches for him.
Well, sometimes you get the donut, sometimes you get the hole.
And the Jets widen their lead.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 65 on a kicking team. After the play, first down.
A moment of silence in the booth came as the crew here contemplated that weighty bit of philosophy which he laid upon his trump. Sometimes you get the donut, sometimes you get the hole.
That's right, I'm cold.
Words to live by. 1st and 10 from the 17. This is your basic good field position to start a drive. Walter Payton does not get to the line of scrimmage.
Now Denver's got to play turnover football. That is, stand the ball carrier up or the receiver up and start grabbing for that football. They cannot allow the Chicago Bears to run 2 or 3 minutes off the clock here and try for a field goal. They got to try to strip the ball away from the ball carrier, get the ball back in their possession.
Payton's numbers, 16 carries, 56 yards. 7:42 remaining in the ball game. Evans, short drop. Fires one. Plenty of white shirts surrounding the receiver who was Marjoram. Aaron Kyle was the guy who knocked the ball away.
That's taking a chance, isn't it?
Well, not really. You're deep in Denver territory.
Yeah, but you got a 45% passer throwing one of the most difficult passes there is to complete, which is a slant pass. They don't need to score. All they need to do is keep the clock running, which means run the football. Any incompletion works in Denver's favor.
3rd and 11. 18-yard line. 7:37 left. They'll throw it again. Unless Evans decides to tuck it in, which he has done very successfully. He gets down near the 5-yard line, and that should be enough for a first down. Bill Thompson bounced him out of bounds.
I believe that's his 4th scramble for plus yardage today. And he has really been a thorn in the side of the Denver Broncos. 5 for 36 yards. He appears to be all right. You see good pressure by Denver, but the one aspect of Vince Evans that Denver does not have, and that is mobility by the quarterback. And I repeat, about 4 years ago, he was an excellent kick return man for the Chicago Bears. Now it's 1st and goal.
Another excellent view provided by our technical crew. And those fellows really do, as we said earlier, do a great job, and more often than not without a great amount of credit. In good weather in September, in bitter weather in December here in Chicago. Harper, nothing. You know, quite frankly, Trump, the fates of both the head coach, Neil Armstrong, and the vice president and general manager, Jim Finks, have been debated here in Chicago, in the newspapers, on the streets, at the bars by the fans. But 3 straight victories to close the season might help the Papa Bear make up his mind.
I'll tell you what, though, there are people who say 3 straight victories by the Chicago Bears are not going to help Neil Armstrong. That he is gone no matter what. Finks is going to stay. That remains for Papa Bear and Jim Finks to make the decision.
One positive note for sure, their first 6 picks in the draft all made the team this year, and they're all contributing. Peyton, stopped for a loss.
Andy Gretish are on the tackle. This defense is a bunch with pride. They're not about to give up. It's been the failing, I believe, of the offense today, directly resulting in 14 points by the Chicago Bear defense. The defense hasn't really played that badly. The offense has done very little.
3rd and goal now from the 7-yard line. The clock is running, 6.5 minutes left. If they hold them to a field goal, they still have a prayer. They have a little under 6 minutes to try and patch together 2 touchdowns to tie it and force overtime. A touchdown would drive the final nail into the Bronco coffin. Evans looking. Comes back the other way. Peyton. Almost. Does he get there? He does.
Peyton's 2nd touchdown reception of the day. He had none coming into this football game. And the scrambling ability once again of Vince Evans. He looks here to the slant pattern, nobody. Bryson Manor, 66, in pursuit. A little swing pass to Walter Payton. He's into the end zone, and he throws the ball once again in the stands, so he's contributed 14 points and lost $200, both of which he can afford.
Rovetto's kick makes it 35-17, the most points scored by the Bears in any game this year. National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to stations in the team's home area. So viewers in Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh will be leaving this game in a few minutes for a telecast involving their home teams. However, we'll continue to bring you reports on this game to keep you up to date, and everywhere else in the country, you will see the remaining 6 minutes and 5 seconds of this ball game.
What'd you say? How's that again?
Trump, are you in Cincinnati, Cleveland, or Pittsburgh?
No, I'm not.
Then you don't care.
Okay. Just checking.
35-17.
We are making light of this. I'm sure there are people in Denver who are just ready to strangle the television. And I would imagine that the people on the Denver bench, including that gentleman right there, Dan Reeves, in his rookie season.
Detroit got a touchdown to move to within 3. My question is how much time remaining in the 4th quarter in that game? We'll try and find out for you.
Dan Reeves is trying to put a nice little ending, a last chapter, or a last act to his rookie season as the head coach for the Denver Broncos.
Rovetto now to kick off with 6:05 left. Denver really, even after digging themselves a monstrous hole, had their chances. DeBerg had them deep in Bear territory with the score 28-17. They gave the ball up on downs. Even after they got the ball back, he had Upchurch wide open for what could have been a long touchdown pass, and he threw it too short. Harden to return.
The difference has basically been 2 interceptions by the Chicago Bears thrown right between the numbers of the Chicago Bear players. And that's it.
I'm told that just 1:20 remains in Pontiac at the Silverdome in the Tampa Bay-Detroit game. Well, if the Buccaneers go in there and beat the Lions, they deserve it.
Agreed. Agreed. That will be the first defeat suffered by the Detroit Lions in the Silverdome. There's Craig Morton. Obviously not going to play for the rest of the day. He's got to be disappointed. He's one of the inspirational leaders of this team. He did not perform very well, although receivers dropped passes too.
And he has had a marvelous season, but today a day to forget for Morton and all of his teammates.
That is not what you would call your outstanding afternoon.
He had had only 12 interceptions for the entire year before today. 3 pickoffs against him this afternoon. 2 of them, one by Fensick and one by Al Harris, returned for touchdowns. DeBerg to Watson got 7 on the last play. And Watson again makes the catch for a first down, skipping out at the 45 as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. We got a look at Steve Watson, who is the only offensive player from the Broncos who is going to the Pro Bowl this year. Gradishar, Swenson, and Thompson will represent them from the defense.
I believe Watson's the only starter from the Denver Broncos too. I believe the 3 defensive players are reserves, if I'm not mistaken.
The Bears placed 1 player on the NFC Pro Bowl squad, Gary Fensick, their strong safety.
I believe the Denver Broncos would trade that trip to Hawaii for the top side of this score right now.
Some improprieties along the line.
It usually results in a flag. Final score from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan.
Tampa Bay is the champion of the NFC Central. They wind up at 9-7. Detroit finishes 8-8. 20-17 is the final score.
Number 60, still first down.
Yeah, you know, that's a do-or-die game, too. The winner, Tampa Bay, goes to the playoffs. The loser, Detroit, is out. They are not the wild card.
And the playoff picture begins to take shape. The Giants are in, it would appear, assuming the Jets hold on and beat Green Bay. Tampa Bay is in. DeBerg has it broken up. Fisher getting in front of Lytle. They may call him for pass interference, however. Bear fans make their displeasure known. Let's take a look at this Tampa Bay-Detroit game. The Bucs went up 3-0 on a 40-yard Bill Capisi field goal.
Interference, number 24, defense, automatic first down.
Then Eric Hipple with a 9-yard touchdown run made it 7-3 Detroit. Williams to Kevin House for 84 yards and a touchdown. Boy, that Kevin House out of Southern Illinois is a fine young pass receiver. And it was 10-7 at the half. Eddie Murray's 47-yard field goal tied at 10-10 midway through the third. Another Tampa Bay field goal. This one a 30-yarder, put them ahead 13-10. Then they scored on a fumble recovery to go up 20-10, and that ultimately was the difference in the game. Eric Hipple threw a touchdown pass off an option play to bring them to within 3 at 20-17, but that was late in the fourth quarter, and that's as close as they got. Tampa Bay wins it by 3. A juggling catch. A heck of a grab by Dave Preston in Chicago territory around the 40-yard line of the Bears with the clock still running and 4:48 remaining.
I imagine Dave Preston would have liked to have had this reception on that 4th down and 1 that they were faced with in the third quarter.
Actually, I guess that was early in the fourth.
Oh, you're right. It was early in the fourth quarter.
If they had made that play and gone in for the touchdown, it would be a completely different game because the Bears wouldn't have gotten their last TD, which came as a direct result of field position at the other end. And we might be looking at a 28-24 ball game with still 4 minutes left. Now we are looking at a forlorn group of Broncos who have to head back to Denver and hope they get some help from the Raiders tomorrow night.
It appears we've got a couple of things settled in the playoffs now. Buffalo will be at the Jets on Sunday, December 27th, and the Giants will be at Philadelphia in the Vet in the National Football Conference. First round, that is the wild card playoff. So we got 4 teams in there and know who and when they're going to play. That's Buffalo at Shea Stadium on the 27th, and the Giants at Philadelphia.
In fact, assuming that large leads in some other games today hold up, I believe that every playoff team except for one has been decided. And that one would be the AFC West title winner, either Denver or San Diego. DeBerg's pass is in the general vicinity of Haven Moses. 4:03 remaining, and now it's 4th and 1 from just outside the 40-yard line.
So now the Denver Broncos must sit and wait, and certainly cheer for the Oakland Raiders against San Diego tomorrow night.
Here's what you got. Cincinnati is in. Miami, Buffalo, and the Jets, evidently, 3 teams from the AFC East are all in. The question is, will it be San Diego or Denver from the West? In the NFC, after all those multiple possibilities, what we have is the Giants, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. 3 teams from the NFC East in.
And Tampa.
And Tampa as the champion of the Central, and San Francisco as the champion of the West.
So that's set.
DeBerg wants to talk about his 4th down play. So as he goes over to confer with Dan Reeves, we'll take this break. .350 left. If the Broncos could simply schedule all their games at Mile High Stadium, their problems would be over. But they are a weak road act.
They are now 2-6 on the road, 0-5 on AstroTurf, 8-0 at home.
And the Bears will be 4-0 against the AFC West in a season which will see them go 6-10. 2-10 against the rest of the world, 4-0 against the AFC West. He wants Upchurch. He's got Upchurch. Touchdown.
They could add some excitement to this ball game. That makes it 35-23 with a conversion 24. And boy, do those 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns loom as large at this stage. My goodness. I believe they've been trying to get this pass completed all day long. Good job in pass protection by the Denver offensive line. 39 yards on the catch for a touchdown by Rick Upchurch.
And Reuben Henderson was left wondering what happened.
Onside kick after this, would you suspect, sir?
I would think that is reasonably certain. First sniper will try for the 24th point, and he has it. Flag down.
They're going to get the Chicago Bears, I believe, for running into the kicker.
The contact was a result of blocker action. No flag.
Thank you.
All right, Gordon McCarter clears that up. One consolation, and a small one indeed, for the Broncos, is that the 24 points they posted today is the most yielded by the Bears since the Lions burned them for 48 back on October 19th.
I'm not sure that's any consolation over it.
I said it was a very small consolation.
Maybe even less than that. Who is that gentleman up there?
That's Steve Gonzalez, who won an Emmy this past week in New York at the Sports Emmy Award presentations for his work on the last Super Bowl game.
I think he's supposed to say hi, Mom, here, isn't he? Say hi, Mom, Steve.
Give us a wave, Steve, huh? Okay,
nice,
there you go. And Dick Enberg of NBC took an Emmy as well for his work, and much deserved. These are the games coming up next. Cincinnati, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Houston, Cleveland, Seattle. 3:15 remaining.
I was going to say, I believe only one of those 4 o'clock games has any bearing at all on anything. If Cincinnati beats Atlanta, they ensure themselves of home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. If not, there might be a chance they would have to travel to Miami to play the Dolphins.
In the championship game.
In the championship game, that's right.
They shift to the right side for the onside kick, and this might result in a touchdown. It might go all the way, but it doesn't. Brooks Williams got down near the 10-yard line with it. Number 83.
Dan Reeves and the Denver Broncos got to feel like they should have never gotten out of bed this morning. I mean, It has gone bad all day long. How many times have you seen that, Robert? I don't believe I've ever seen anybody come this clean on an onside kick. You see the first man let the ball go, and he's right there to pick it up.
It's not funny if you're in Denver, Trump.
No, you're not. It's not, but still.
Steve Trimble, 37, prevented the touchdown by shoving him out of bounds just shy of the 10-yard line. So the Bears, who prior to today had not scored more than 28 points, might crack 40 this afternoon if they can cash this opportunity. Harper.
Flag down.
Squirting for about 4 yards.
Questions for you.
Yes.
In this 1981 season, give me the biggest disappointment in the NFL this year.
The New England Patriots, I'd say.
My choice would be the Oakland Raiders.
Coming off a Super Bowl, sure.
Biggest surprise?
Might be Steve Watson. Who'd ever heard of him before he latched on to 13 touchdown receptions? Were you thinking perhaps of a team surprise?
Yeah, more of a team as opposed to an individual.
How about the Giants and Jets, both in the playoffs?
Yeah, possibly an underground Super Bowl.
Subway Super Bowl?
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Offense, repeat first down.
Except you can't take the subway from New York to Pontiac, which is where the Super Bowl will be held.
True. Believe me, if both New York teams are in it, they'll figure out a way to get there. AFC Rookie of the Year.
It's between Delaney of Kansas City and Collinsworth of Cincinnati, I would think. Collinsworth being on the cover of Sports Illustrated a couple of weeks ago won't hurt his cause. Walter Payton gets down to the 15-yard line.
How about AFC Player of the Year?
Ken Anderson.
No question. NFC Player of the Year.
Tony Dorsett.
I was going to say George Rogers.
Give him Rookie of the Year.
Okay, I'll give him Rookie of the Year. Player of the Year, what'd you think? I don't know. That's hard to pick. You know, it might be somebody like, as incredible as it may sound, it might be somebody like Lawrence Taylor, the New York Giants. Something odd like that.
For Defensive Player of the Year?
Defensive Player of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, they're touting Ronnie Lott for the Rookie Award out in San Francisco. Meanwhile, Payton trying to tack on some more points, bounces off a few tacklers, but is downed at the 14-yard line by Randy Gradishaw.
Who were your Super Bowl picks prior to this season, sir?
I'm embarrassed to admit that I picked Atlanta and San Diego.
I picked Oakland and Dallas, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I picked Oakland.
Oh, you might have half of it.
Once again, Walter Payton. Little delay. He keeps fighting upfield, and Gradishaw in the tackle.
Walter's 19 carries for 63 yards today.
We continue. AFC Coach of the Year.
I like Forrest Gregg of Cincinnati with an honorable mention to Walt Michaels of the Jets.
I'll give you that. NFC Coach of the Year. I don't think there's any question. Bill Walsh of San Francisco.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. There's the final score, and that one is not a final. Philadelphia is clobbering the Cardinals. Look at Baltimore looking to end that losing streak at 14. They're flashing him too fast to comment on them all. New Orleans leading San Francisco,
17-14.
It no longer makes any difference because since Dallas lost yesterday, the 49ers have their home field assured.
Could it be possible that Baltimore's only 2 victories in this 1981 season are against New England?
As bookends on opposite ends of 14 straight defeats, the opener and the finale.
So that means that New England will have the first pick in the draft, and they'll probably take a defensive back. They have every other year.
3rd and goal from the 13-yard line. Evans swings it out to Harper. And Roland's path is blocked, and he's shoved out of bounds with 2:04 left.
Did we cover NFC Player of the Year? I don't believe we did.
Yes, we did. Tony Dorsett.
Tony Dorsett.
Choice.
How about Danny White?
Still go with Dorsett.
How about Joe Montana?
Still going with Dorsett over Big Sky. Do you have any other candidates? Ken Edmondson, our producer, wants to know who our choices are for Producer and Director of the Year.
Alan Page's final game as a professional, a victory. Interesting, I believe, that Alan Page will take up a law practice and probably be in court against the NFL. His law firm, the law firm for which he works, represents the National Football League Players Association. That would be interesting.
You're getting the view from News Chopper 5, provided for us by WMAQ-TV here in Chicago. And our thanks to those folks, Chet Kopic heading their sports staff. Philadelphia beats the Cardinals 38-0. The last time they played in St. Louis, Philadelphia scored more than 50 points. The Cardinals not exactly having good success against the Eagles. And the Cardinals, who won 4 straight games over Neil Lomax, close with 2 consecutive defeats, one to the Giants and then today to Philadelphia. And they wind up 7-9.
Bob, I understand that in Baltimore, 34,000 tickets were sold. Only 17,000 people showed up. So Baltimore won and nobody knew it.
17,000 people with an outstanding sense of humor.
A final now. 38-0 Philadelphia over St. Louis.
Now John Rivetto out of Brian Bashnagel's hold at the 19-yard line, making it a 29-yard attempt, which could make the score 38-24. They fake it. Bashnagel throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Mike Cobb. And a happy Neil Armstrong.
I suppose he figures that if I'm going out as a head coach, I'm not taking my heel out of his chest to replace it, to reset it. I'm going to go out with all guns blazing. On the other side, Dan Reeves will not forget this. Given the opportunity to sometime in the future to return the favor, he will do so. Mike Cobb on the touchdown. Ryan Bashnagel on the throw, who happened to play 5 games this season with a broken arm. It doesn't count.
We never saw the flag.
Ineligible receiver, number 78, offense, illegally downfield. Repeat, 4th down.
Keith Van Horn was the ineligible man downfield, which spoils a perfectly enjoyable play for the Bears.
If I were Mr. Bashnagel, who is the holder on this particular play, I'd look out this next one.
We've reached the 2-minute warning, and Bashnagel has received his warning from Trumpy. We'll come back after this.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1967. Johnny Unitas and the Baltimore Colts trail Green Bay 10-0 with just 51 seconds left. First, Unitas arches a perfect pass to Jimmy Orr. Then a successful onside kick. And here come the Colts again. Unitas fires a strike to Willie Richardson. A 13-10 victory delivered by Johnny U.
As we return, it's 4th and 21, 4th and goal from the 21, and they take the field goal unit off after the fake, which resulted in a touchdown, was negated by the penalty. So Neil Armstrong not only doesn't get the points he was looking for to cap the day, but he irritates Dan Reeves, so he's 0 for 1. Fourth and 21. Evans keeps it, doesn't get there.
Quarterback draw.
Jackson slams him down. Now it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Alan Page. I think they ought to bring him out on the field for one play now that the ball changes hands, and then take him and him alone out of the game so he's in the spotlight and can get an ovation from what remains of the crowd here at Soldier Field.
Unfortunately, I don't believe he's even taken the field.
Evans was hurt on the play.
He's got 6 months to recover.
At least.
Hopefully not serious.
Appears to be holding the ribs, the midsection area.
Favoring his shoulder, too, I believe, Bob.
We have 1:51 remaining. The Bears lead at 35-24. Looking for Alan Page. He's out there. He's out there, 82.
Snuck on the field there. Didn't get to see him. There he is. He began his career at 270 pounds, now playing at about 230, and actually kind of redesigned the thinking of defensive coaches. Has run around the blocks of many, many people.
Out of the shotgun, DeBerg on first down. Throws a pass which will not be presented at any clinics. And Alan Page departs. Standing ovation in the stands and also in the booth.
Yeah. Did you say 20 playoff games he participated in, 8 Pro Bowls, and the only man in the history of the NFL as a defensive player to be named the most valuable player of the league?
That occurred in 1969, as I recall. On the other hand, it might have been 1971, says Bob Trumpy. Haven Moses, another guy who's been around for a few ball games, makes the catch and skips out of bounds.
Here's one for you. Grady Alderman, the general manager of the Denver Broncos, played on the ball club with Alan Page in Minnesota.
The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Olmeyer. Together every week during the NFL season. DeBerg on 1st and 10. Will they rule it complete? The ball's still spinning around like a top.
That is exactly the indication of how the ball has gone today for the Denver Broncos. And the topsy-turvy.
I've seen fumbles called on balls that were held just about that long, haven't you, Trump?
Tend to agree with you in this 1981 season.
Don't forget the second half of today's NFL doubleheader. 3 different games depending upon where you are in the country. Pittsburgh, Houston, Cleveland, Seattle, Cincinnati, Atlanta. All those games are underway already. And you'll be seeing most of one of them.
One of the original Purple People Eaters is Alan Page.
2nd and 10 with 1:32 left. All the Broncos can do is go home, watch TV tomorrow night, and hope for the best. Almost intercepted by Terry Schmidt, who could have picked it up on the dead run and might have taken it all the way. Let's find out what's happening elsewhere. Here's Bryant in New York.
Okay, Bob, out in Seattle's Kingdome, the Seahawks have moved ahead of the Browns. Brian Sipes' 24th INT of the season, picked off by Kenny Easley. He goes 82 yards to move the Seahawks out in front 7-0 in the first. Since this may be my last chance, Merry Christmas, Bob Costas, Bob Trumpy.
And the same to you, Bryant Gumbel.
And a Happy New Year to you, son. Over on the 2-day program.
35-24 Chicago with 1:24 remaining. Bears will close with 3 straight victories to wind up 6-10. Here's a flip to Preston. Preston with some good blocking in front of him gets nearly what they needed for the first down.
Mike Singletary down on the ground, obviously hurt.
Numerous casualties here in the waning moments, which is the last thing you want when the game is decided and the season is over. And again, these are the games which you'll be seeing shortly. Cincinnati trying to assure themselves of home field advantage all the way through the playoffs. They already have it in the first round, actually the second round, because they have a bye for the first week by virtue of their division championship in the Central. Steve Watson standing alongside Dan Reeves.
Yeah, as we see it here, we think Buffalo will be at Cincinnati in that game on January 2nd. Philadelphia will be at San Francisco.
Buffalo would first have to beat the Jets, though, in the wild card game, Trump.
Oh, you're right.
I thought maybe that was a prediction of the outcome of that game.
No, I don't mean to do that at all. No.
Rob Lytle carries.
I take it back.
That's good for a first down, and they line up quickly. 50 seconds remaining in the ball game. DeBerg completes it to Egloff, who gets out of bounds. Fensick was gambling for an interception, came within an eyelash of doing it, and if so, he would have had clear sailing for his 2nd touchdown of the day. Fensick has more than justified his Pro Bowl selection today with his 6th interception of the year, and he returned it all the way for a touchdown, the first of his NFL career. It was 14-3 Bears at the half. And the game turned on the 2 touchdown returns with interceptions, one by Fensick, the other by Al Harris in the 3rd quarter. A few hardy souls remain at Soldier Field, but most of those who were here have filed out. DeBerg to Upchurch. And they say keep the clock running. Yet another setback for the Broncos. Bob Trumpy, I believe, has nodded off. He is
I'm still
shivering,
here.
his teeth chattering as he stands otherwise silently beside me.
Getting up close to the fireplace.
Berg's pass volleyballed around. Reuben Henderson had a crack at it. Rob Lytle was the target. Alan Page. 15 years in the league out of Notre Dame. And at age 36, will devote full time to the law practice. 17 seconds left.
Alan Page is just 1 year younger as a player than that gentleman is as a head coach. Realize that? Reeves is 37.
He's a year younger than his quarterback, Craig Morton. Just 2 years younger than the owner of the ball club. Well, Reeves has to hope that Oakland's strange magic on Monday nights continues. If so, they get a reprieve and they're in the playoffs. If not, it's over. 10 seconds left. Lytle unable to reach the throw from DeBerg.
This week.
Noah Jackson and Reeve Sorry along the sideline.
I don't believe Noah Jackson will ever be auditioned for an underwear commercial. A little roly-poly, but you know, at his size and his weight, he's a scratch golfer and can dunk a basketball.
Gil Haggart, Terry Kane, and Dick Bosing have been our statisticians today, along with Steve Dance from NBC in New York. Watson makes the catch, and that, my friends, is all she wrote. The final score at Soldier Field: the Bears 35 and the Broncos 24. 10-6 regular season for Denver, 6-10 for the Bears, and we'll come back to wrap it up after this.